Amy Marks Course, Chris Granji on KMOX.
Let's take it from the top.
Let's go. That's a Kevin Wheeler thing to say. It is the Chris and Amy show, and we are doing it up a little bit different today. We hope you're having a great day. We think that you are. It's about to get a whole lot better. I promise you that. Our phone number is 314-436-7900. We're streaming on the Odyssey app where you should be listening to us. Our podcasts are there, and also you can send us a voice message. There's a little mic button. You tap it, you record a message, you send it to us, and maybe we'll play it on the air. In fact, we're really going to want him today because I have a special guest host with me. He is now, once again, part of the KMOX family. It is Bernie Miklasz. He doesn't need an introduction. You know who he is. Bernie's with me today. What's going on,
Raj,
man?
I'm so happy to get this invitation and come down and hang out, and to Amy's many fans.
Oh yeah,
I'm sorry to disappoint you all.
No. See, this is a really nice break for me, Bernie. She's been on vacation. I mean, it feels like,
I don't know how to take that, Ron.
I am rejuvenated. I'm rejuvenated. But we want to hear from you today. If you got a question for Bernie Miklasz, for me, whatever, go ahead and get that Odyssey app and download it and listen to the show. And then you can send us a message. We are streaming on YouTube and Facebook Live and Twitter. If you're following the KMOX News Twitter page, we are all there. So we want you to do that today. Like I said, got Bernie Miklasz with me, Will Leach, who is a podcast partner of yours.
Seeing Red, yeah. At Seeing Red Pod on X, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to join us today in the 11 o'clock hour. Pedal the Cause is coming up for its 15th year of raising funds for cancer research at Siteman Cancer Center. And David Dreyer, who is the director of that, is going to join the show in the 11 o'clock hour as well. So a lot coming up today. But Bernie, as I said, it's awesome to see. Real quick,
yeah.
I don't know if you remember this or not, but back in my interning days, I interned the McGuire summer, the Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa summer in 1998. And one of my first jobs as an intern at KMOX was to come down to the garage and bring you upstairs so you could host with Dan McLaughlin.
I do remember that.
I had to go get you.
I forgot about it,
yeah.
But now that you bring it up, no, that's really funny, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Well, it was either that or you stood outside. And then
that was always like going in that bat cave. That was
really scary down there.
The first couple times I did that. I mean, and this is kind of cool. It's the bat cave, you know? And it was fun. That building was a lot of fun. It's not like you just opened, but what a beautiful complex this is.
This place is nice.
Really, really good.
Yeah, I like it here. So we're, it's fun to see you. It's good to see you. When we were at the sports station together, we rarely crossed paths. So it's nice to get to do a show.
I did early mornings. You did afternoon drive, and just every now and then there'd be like a chance meeting, usually in the hallway. So yeah, I'm really happy for you that you landed at KMOX, and it's obviously you're happy. And it's a great place for you to be. So I'm happy for you, man. I really am.
Yeah,
you're always very, very nice to me.
Oh, well, look at this. We're best friends again.
Yeah, let's start until we'll get nasty. So we get nasty at some
point. We got 2 hours to get nasty. Let's do it. Speaking of nasty, how about those Cardinals? See, this is really odd because they've kind of teased this all year long with. I think we were hoping it was going to be better than last year. They got off to the really miserable start last season, and we thought, okay, maybe this will be better. And they've shown flashes of it. They do something like win the first 3 in the series against the Pirates, and you think, come on, where's this been?
There's kind of an enigma because I'm with you. I mean, they're clearly a better team, and there have been some positives. Listen, Cardinals fans are very disappointed that it's been 2 years, and it'll be the second year in a row not making the playoffs. And there's a lot of grousing, and I don't blame anybody. In fact, I've done a lot of grousing myself. I mean, I'm hardly someone who is like, well, the fans shouldn't be displeased. But where I draw the line, and I'm not turning on the fans, so to speak, because I just don't do that. Where I draw the line, though, is like when you're so mad at the way the seasons is gone. I hear from a lot of people that just don't want to hear anything good about the team. And then if you're, if you say something good, it's like, well, this guy's on DeWitt's payroll or what, it's just like, just because it's a disappointing season, it doesn't mean that everything is trash, right? There's some things that I liked about this team. And there are things that I've been very, very critical about. They haven't been able to put it together. I mean, there's times like the bullpen's been really good all year. The starting pitching has been really good during stretches, but inconsistent. Offense, not so good at any time. So that's been the number one problem.
Now, just looking at, and these are surface numbers. It's not. There are better ways to examine a lineup, and I'm not going to get into it. I don't want to get too in the weeds, but just looking at what the typical starting lineup is for the Cardinals, and just that one OPS number, which doesn't tell everything, but it gives you a decent indication of runs scored and how well they're producing runs. Bernie, they've got a couple of guys who are about major league average for the season. Just a couple. I mean, Alec Burleson is about there. Brendan Donovan is about there. Goldschmidt and Arenado have played better, in the last month-ish. But this lineup, there's nobody that's performing over what a typical major league hitter should do.
This is a power game, whether people want to hear that or not. You have to be able to hit home runs. You shouldn't be obsessed with home runs. And one thing I like about Ali Marmol, and I've written this, talked about it, is that I hear a lot like they need to play more small ball. They do. They're actually pretty good at that. And as usual, I have the stats to back it up. I mean, if you look at the way they move runners over, productive outs, extra bases taken on batted balls, if you're a base runner, sacrifice fly, sacrifice bunts. I mean, there's a long list of things which you would call small ball. They do well. And I think they should try to steal more bases next season. But when you're 24th or 25th in home runs, and they have had 9.
Yeah, 23rd.
23rd. Yeah,
that's not going to do it.
They've had, I think my favorite stat of the year that's a kind of a weird stat, and frankly a bad stat, this team's hit 9 3-run homers all year. And I grew up in Earl Weaver baseball, and he was pitching, defense, 3-run homers. Yeah. Draw walks, somebody will hit a home run. We're going to kill them with 3-run homers. And 3-run homers are devastating. And the Cardinals have hit 9 all year. I mean, they can't go through another season where the power is so negligible, because that's the great equalizer. That home runs rearrange games. And so they're at a real disadvantage because of their relatively speaking, their weak home run power.
Well, here's the indication. This is, and this doesn't tell everything, but this is extremely telling. The Cardinals are 23rd in home runs. The only teams that have fewer: Toronto, Pittsburgh, Tampa, Miami, Washington, and the White Sox. All of those teams are under 500.
Now, look at the top of the list. Look at where the home run leaders team-wise. And I think they're all going to be playing in the postseason. There might be an exception, but it looks like they're all headed to the postseason.
I mean, they're all over 500 teams.
Yeah.
It's definitely the Yankees, Orioles, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Mets. Somehow the A's are up there.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
Yeah, right? I mean, you're always going to have an outlier, but for the most part, Braves,
yeah,
Red Sox, Phillies, and Padres, those are your top 10. Most of those are going to be playoff teams.
It's a great equalizer. It really, really is. Nothing changes a game's momentum. If it's a tight game or you're down by a couple runs, nothing changes the momentum like a timely home run.
Yeah, and I get the appeal of, and there's an argument to be made about what is a more entertaining baseball product to watch. And there's a ton of entertainment in, like you said, stolen bases, hit and run, just the extra base hits, runner at second, driving him in with a double, just, changing places with him. There's a lot of value in that. And it's a fun brand of baseball to watch. But if you're not hitting for power, you're not going to win. That's just the reality of the game now.
And it makes your team look like, I'm looking for the word, where nothing's happening. And one of the reasons nothing's happening, they don't draw a lot of walks, so they don't get on base as much as they need to. But when you're not hitting for power, they don't hit a lot of doubles either. It looks like everyone's standing around. It looks like everyone's like lethargic. It looks like, well, this team's not fired up.
It does.
And That is the impression. I get that. But I just think it's because when you don't have that jolt of electricity enough home runs, it looks like you're standing around kind of like sulking.
It does.
It really does.
Yeah. And the Cardinals are 20th in doubles. They are, consequently, they are 17th in hitting triples this year. So not a lot of extra base hits, definitely not a lot of power. That's why they find themselves where they are right now in the standings.
If you don't hit home runs and you and the White Sox are the worst teams in baseball, you don't want to be hanging with them. Batting average and slugging and home runs with runners in scoring position. I've never seen a Cardinals team, and I've been around since 1985. It is just bewildering that they have been so poor with their performance with runners in scoring position. And I'm a numbers nerd real quick. And I've been able to identify the problem. Like the Cardinals, especially with runners in scoring position, they do two things to undermine themselves. They take way too many called strikes. I don't know why. And they swing it too many pitches out of the strike zone. If those two things together, that basically guarantees you're going to have a terrible batting average with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
See, my numbers nerd stuff comes in handy sometimes.
Well, see, I like the numbers. I love them. I don't know if everybody loves them. I love them. All that matters is us.
That's right.
It's just, what do we like? That's what it's about, us. Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji today. Bernie is sitting in with me for a couple hours. Really awesome to have him in.
Wonderful.
If you have a question for him, there are people on hold already. 314-436-7900, or just drop us a voice message on the Odyssey app. Tap the mic button, record it, and send it. We'll get to your questions today on KMOX.
STL Fence Works, they've been serving the St. Louis, the St. Charles, the Warren, and Franklin counties for over 50 years. And never once in a half century has their commitment to a quality and customer first approach ever wavered. It's never wavered. Here's what you know you can get. Your project will be completed by an experienced craftsman in a timely manner. They have a lifetime warranty that reinforces that commitment. That's right. STL Fenceworks warranty surpasses anything else offered in the industry. And whether you are getting Wolf cellular PVC decking, which happens to be the #1 maintenance-free decking product in the country, or maybe a vinyl fence or an aluminum fence, you can rest assured that those products are wholly sourced and manufactured right here in the U.S. Visit them today at stlfenceworks.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan with a quick reminder. Schedule that annual eye exam. Routine eye exams not only diagnose vision changes, but can detect systemic diseases like diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, thyroid disease, to name just a few. Do what I do. Call Ophthalmology Associates at 314-966-5000. The doctors there, Greg Birdie, Ranj Malhotra, Samuel Berry, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, will provide you with the area's most comprehensive eye exam. These doctors can also help with dry eye disease, the result of staring at screens, flying in airplanes, or living in a dry environment. Dry eye sounds harmless, but it can cause inflammation, blurred vision, and damage to the eye's surface that's sometimes difficult to reverse. The doctors at Ophthalmology Associates are expert in diagnosis and treatment of dry eye disease. 314-966-5000. Your eye doc We
all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Join the movement to end breast cancer on October 19th. By supporting the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer, you're helping save lives through groundbreaking research discovery and patient support. Get info or donate at makingstrideswalk.org/St. Louis Mo.
Conversations that hit close to home. From schools to your pocketbook. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Bernie Miklasz is part of the KMOX family again, and he is sitting in with me today, Chris Ranji, on the Chris and Amy Show. Bernie is appearing on the station throughout the week, Mondays and Fridays with Glover.
Right. Tuesday and Thursday with you and Amy.
Yeah.
Sports on a Sunday morning. I do a hit with Tom Ackerman. And then once baseball season's over, I will be part of Sports Open Line, not hosting the show, but being in the studio and, just talking sports.
There might be some additional sports stuff we're doing around here. So it's awesome to have you back with us and to be working with you. And, we were talking about the Cardinals and where they sit now, and the lack of power has kind of led to the situation they're in terms of pitching, Bernie. It's been okay. As you mentioned, the bullpen, really good. The closing situation, really, really good. A lot of teams would kill to have a closer like the Cardinals have had, or at least gotten the the production out of him. And it's just unfortunate they haven't had a whole lot of leads to hold on to, though.
They're starting pitching. If you just look at where they are with quality starts and you look at where they are in rotation ERA, first of all, last year, the Cardinals had a 5.08 starting pitching ERA that was only the worst in the history of the franchise in a full season. So anything this rotation did would look good by comparison. They could have won a lot more games with this rotation. I am in no way saying, oh, that rotation is great, or I'm in no way saying, oh, they didn't need to bring in another good star. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they've actually performed the way I thought they would, which is like averages, somewhere a little below average, but competitive.
Yeah.
Not enough. But if you had a booming offense and with that bullpen, we wouldn't be fussing about it. And I fuss about it. We wouldn't be fussing about the starting pitching as much. Does it need to be improved? Absolutely. And I think they'll have an opportunity to do that this winter, because I don't know. I doubt very much that Lynn will be back, and Gibson might be back. Palante, they're going to put, in the rotation, and there's a chance to refresh in that rotation. But again, we don't know who's going to be like calling the shots, and it's hard to speculate what they might do because we're all in limbo with that.
Palante's been a really interesting development this year.
Yeah. And I give him credit because he knew himself. He's a really good young dude. He knew himself. Like, he had initial success as a reliever, but he really doesn't have reliever stuff. And once the other teams caught on what he was throwing and he was limited, they jumped him. I mean, he was so bad the second year, so bad this year in relief. And, to his credit, he went to Ollie Marmol and Dusty Blake and said, look, I really think I can be a good starting pitcher. I think that's what I do best. And can I go to Memphis and work on that? And you can give me stuff to recommend that I need to improve on. I mean, he took the initiative and he was absolutely right. And, again, no one's saying he's Chris Carpenter, but if you have an Andre Palante as, like, say, your fourth starter, That's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's got the best starting pitching ERA on the team this year.
Yeah.
So, and legitimately good. A lot of ground balls, man. Just striking out more too.
314-436-7900 is our phone number. Of course, voice messages we're welcoming from the Odyssey app. Let's talk to Terry in Washington, Missouri. Hello, Terry. Hello, Terry.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of static on. Can't hear you very good. About a month ago, I was reading an article in Bernie Scoops where he was talking about Lee Smith, and he thought that Lee Smith should went in the Hall of Fame as a Cardinal instead of a Cub, and he pointed out that he had 160 saves in 4 years with the Cardinals and 180 saves in 8 years with the Cubs. Well, that's true, but what Bernie's leaving out is
Terry, I don't think it was Bernie who wrote that.
I don't know who. It wasn't me.
Yeah, I'm not.
Because I never advocated for Lee Smith for the Cardinals Hall of Fame. In fact, I'm on that committee, and I never advocated for him. But I'm sure you read that. I just, hey, I read stuff, and I read a lot of stuff, and then like 3 months later, I'm like, well, who wrote that again? So
that happens all the time. Was it Rosenthal? Was it Passan? I don't know. It's one of those guys.
I think Lee Smith's as a Cardinals Hall of Famer is a tough bridge for a lot of Cardinals fans to cross. He did an excellent job here, but he's a Cubs Hall of Famer, and maybe that's childish, but I'm just saying I understand the resistance to the idea. I do.
I wonder how many people are up in arms about that, about Lee Smith. Probably not many.
I think there's a lot of things people are up in arms about these days with the Cardinals, but yeah, I don't. That one's probably on a list of 1,000. I don't know. I'll be gracious and say that's probably about 998.
Let's see. You want to take one more real quickly?
Sure.
Let's do that. Roger and O'Fallon. I don't know which O'Fallon, but Roger's with us. What's up?
Misery.
Oh, Misery. Oh, yes.
McCreevy pitches one great game. Gave up one run in 7 innings. And his thanks for being a Cardinal. Welcome to the Cardinal organization. You're going back to the minors. We don't need you. Why?
Well, they committed a lot of money to Sonny Gray, but he's going to be in the rotation no matter what. They signed Lynn and Gibson to 1-year contracts plus options. So those guys were going to pitch as long as they were healthy. And by and large, they've done fine. And then you have the Miles Michaelis situation. He has not been very good the last couple of years, but they're paying him a lot of money. And so it's like, well, I've had this conversation with John Mosey like in the past. Look, if we're paying a guy, he's going to play. He's going to pitch. And so there really wasn't much room at the end there. And then Palante emerged. And no one's going to say, well, take Palante out of there. The McCreevy thing is fascinating because I thought as a former number 1 draft choice, he had reached a level at AAA where he wasn't getting any better. I mean, he really wasn't. And I'm like, I don't think this guy is. And then all of a sudden, something kicked in this year. And he was not only great with the Cardinals when he made that spot start, brilliant. When he went down, he did the best pitching of his life. He came up last night. He played a major role in that win last night, 3 innings. They have got to figure him into their planning for 2025. He clearly warrants a shot to be in that rotation.
That's Bernie Miklasz sitting in with me, Chris Ranji, on the Chris and Amy Show. We are going to talk plenty of Cardinals for the next hour and a half or so, and we will take your calls and your text messages and your voice messages on the Odyssey app. But when we come back, the 25th anniversary of the greatest show on turf, that team, that St. Louis Rams Super Bowl team being celebrated this weekend, in fact, Bernie and I will discuss when we come back on KMOX.
This is Debbie Monterey. Join us for the Business of Family Business here on KMOX. My partner is Kevin Short of Clayton Capital Partners.
Yeah, great guest. You're going to hear a great interview talking about how their dad founded this business back in the 80s and how it has grown to be a very formidable force in the construction industry. So please join us.
It's going to be Saturday at 2 right here on KMOX. It's the Business of Family Business with Petker Construction only on KMOX.
At 10:30, we've got sun, 78 degrees downtown at the Arch. Sales of existing homes in the U.S. fell 2.5% in August compared to the month before, the slowest pace in nearly a year. Jessica Lautz is the deputy chief economist at the National Association of Realtors, says as interest rates come down, the market could become friendlier for home buyers.
We know that right now the biggest challenge in the housing market continues to be housing inventory. So if we see a lot of first-time home buyers being able to jump back into the market, perhaps they've been priced out in the last year and now they're coming back in, that could really put a lot of demand into the housing market. And home builders are also less reluctant when rates lower. There would be more building activity and that could bring more inventory in as well.
The Cardinals have taken the first 3 games of their 4-game series against the Pirates, winning last night by a 10-5 score. Sonny Gray makes the start, goes 5 2/3 innings, 4 runs on 9 hits. He does not factor into the decision. The Cardinals score 6 runs in the 7th inning as Michael McGreevy throws the final 3 innings, giving up just 2 hits, and he picks up the win. He is now 2-0. Brendan Donovan and Mason Wynn each hit home runs for the Cardinals. They look for a 4-game series sweep tonight at Busch Stadium. Eric Fetty on the mound for the Cardinals. 6:15 first pitch. Our coverage begins at 5:20. With the Redbird Report, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
We've got some road work on 55 going south at M. It's got the left lane and shoulder closed. Also some bridge work on the King Bridge going westbound until 5 p.m. Plenty of sunshine this afternoon. High temperature 92. For tonight, could have a thunderstorm late, low 72. Thunderstorm early tomorrow, then hot, humid with a high of 92. Right now, 78 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
There's breaking news all day long from around the world. And sometimes all that noise makes it hard to hear about what's happening right here at home. With the free Odyssey app, getting your local news plus breaking news is easy. And even when you're not near a radio, stay connected with what's going on right here by listening live and push alerts. Just download the free Odyssey app and search and follow your local news station and you're good to go. The local breaking news to get you through your day at your fingertips on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
St. Louis City SC is turning up the heat at the club's free pre-match city block party, starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday, September 28th, all before kickoff against rival Sporting KC. Come out to Lou Fuse Plaza, located steps from City Park, for live music from Tef Poe, Strings EMB, Darkwood, and others. Get special rivalry match merchandise and enjoy local food and drinks, games, giveaways, and so much more. For all the details, visit stlcitysc.com. We've got the sauce. Pour it on, St. Louis.
McKelvey Homes is celebrating 126 years with big savings for you. McKelvey Homes, found at McKelveyHomes.com, was established in 1898. Get $18,980 off your new home, plus up to $10,000 cash at closing from the Carpenters Union. Hurry, these funds are first come, first serve, and they won't last long. Experience the legendary quality and move up to McKelvey. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
Think your vinyl windows are strong? Think again. Hi, it's Amy Mark Scores. Renewal by Anderson's windows are made of their signature composite Fibrix material. It's twice as strong as vinyl, and it won't warp, it won't crack when the temperatures rise and fall. Renewal by Anderson custom builds every window to fit your home perfectly, down to 1/16 of an inch. That means there's no fogging between the glass and no difficulty opening and closing the windows. Just smooth, reliable performance. Stronger, better, more beautiful. That's Renewal by Andersen. Renewal by Andersen's BOGO Bonanza is happening now. It's buy one, get one 50% off all windows, patio doors, or entry doors when you purchase 4 or more. That's right, 50% off with no payments and no interest for 18 months. Call by September 30th, 314-720-9200, 314-720-9200. That's 314-720-9200.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BED-SORE.
Hi, this is Paul Goldschmidt, and it's game day.
It's the Cards and Pirates tonight. Ameren Total Access 520. First pitch 6:15.
Let's play ball.
On your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It is caught by Dyson. Can he get in? No, he cannot. Mike Jones made the tackle. And the Rams have won the Super Bowl.
25 years ago? Come on, man.
I know.
Come on.
Just brutal.
What are you talking about, 25 years? I can't deal with that, Bernie. I was in college when it happened.
Wait till you get my age, and you'll be like, where did all of that time go? Like, how come a full year now goes by in like 5 months?
It's you know what? That's true. The older you get, the quicker time passes you. It's amazing because when you're 10 years old, a year feels like an eternity. And now it feels like 6 days.
25 years, though, and just to hear that call. Now, I wasn't listening to the call. You know, Jim Thomas and I and Team Post-Dispatch was down there covering it. But, you know, there was a point where we sat down, Jim Thomas and myself, one of my best friends, a great football writer, and you know, just to show you, sports writers are not like cynical, jaded, you know, nothing brings out their hearts and all that. You know, Jim Thomas and I, because we covered a lot of bad football, and so we unpack our work bag, and we're there in the Georgia Dome, and we just looked at each other, and we're like, can you believe this? They're in the Super Bowl.
That's unbelievable.
I know. It was one of it's the greatest story I've ever covered. When the Blues won the Stanley Cup, that was an extraordinary story, but I wasn't like actually covering the team per se. So it's a little different. The Blues thing was maybe the most rewarding story because all the great fans waited so long, generations of them. That was exceptional. I was hollering at the TV. I was so jacked up about it, but the 99 Rams thing was 100% unexpected. I mean, no one saw that coming, even though they had made some moves where they were going to be better. No one saw that coming. It goes in the annals of the greatest single seasons in terms of busting all the expectations that I've ever seen.
In terms of an NFL season, the only thing I can think of that is remotely close to it would be Nick Foles winning a Super Bowl, but it's not. It's not close. It's because typically when your quarterback, who you think is going to be pretty good, gets hurt before the season starts, your season is over. That is true for any NFL team. The fact that wasn't true for them, and not only was it not true, but they won 13 games?
Right.
That was they didn't just squeak by.
Scored over 500 points, and people forget the defense was, I think, 6th in the league, maybe 7th in terms of fewest points per game allowed. I mean, their defense was really good as well. Nick Foles had the game of his life. That was really, really cool. He does the Tom Brady to Tom Brady. You know, that was pretty phenomenal.
But what's another? Is Brady a similar NFL story? I mean,
well, that was a big surprise when they beat the Rams.
I guess it was. I mean, when they won that first one against the Rams in New Orleans.
But Belichick had made up his mind that Brady was going to be something special, and that's why he gave him the job, even though Drew Bledsoe was back health-wise. But that was a surprise that they actually could pull that off. I think the Rams had some issues that week, frankly. I think maybe assuming things, maybe having a good time.
Oh, probably.
And
you're in New Orleans.
And it's just these things happen in sports. But Belichick came up with a masterful game plan, and the Rams never really adjusted. They dared the Rams to run the ball. So no, we're going to play. They were in a nickel and dime defense like 75% of the snaps. Because said, well, no, we're not going to let them just play catch all day. And Belichick said, look, it's the Super Bowl. And I talked to Belichick about this. It's the Super Bowl. We're going to mug these guys. Falk, Holt, Bruce. Every time they come off the line, you just pound them as hard as you can. You just pound them. You just keep hitting them, because the officials aren't going to throw a lot of flags. And now some people say it's cheating. It's not cheating. It's reading the game situation and understanding how that game would be officiated. See, that's up to the officials to do their job in the way they should have done it. I'm not going to fault Belichick because he figured out that these guys basically will wimp out. We're going to pound these guys all day when they're coming off the line, and we're going to get away with it because they don't want to litter the field at the Super Bowl with one flag after another.
They probably, you know what, if the Rams, that Rams team, that era, that greatest show and the couple of years after, they might repeat or three-peat if they have similar rules to today.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because offensive, everything is in every sport, all the rules are geared toward offense because that's what people like to watch. So it makes a lot of sense. And it's a lot easier to draw calls to get the benefit of the doubt if you're on offense now.
I've lost, if I ever had popularity with Rams fans, I lost some because I never bought in for a minute that the Rams were cheated in that Super Bowl. And the one that said, well, they had that camera guy, and the camera guy was there, and they can say he didn't do anything. You know what the camera guy filmed? If he filmed 2 days before the Super Bowl, the day before the Super Bowl, the Rams were working on their red zone offense. That's all. That's all. They were going over plays. That's all that this guy saw, right? The Rams had one red zone opportunity in a game. Touchdown. I'm sorry. I thought they were cheating and they knew what plays were coming.
Yeah.
One time they were in the red zone, touchdown. And then the other thing is I don't have the number on the top of my head, the Rams turned the ball over 3 times. And when even an offense like that, when you turn it over 3 times, your chances of winning a game, really, really small. And by the way, you're going up against maybe the greatest head coach in the history of the league.
You know what though? It's a lot easier to blame someone. it's a lot easier to deal with when it's somebody else's fault.
Right. And I
when
get
it's cheating.
I've been there, done that, right?
The texter wants to know if you think they would have won a Super Bowl with Trent. If Trent Green doesn't get knocked out.
That's a great question. And listen, Kurt Warner had a season of a lifetime. And Kurt Warner had special qualities that none of us saw coming. And I think even Trent Green did not have all those qualities. But Trent Green changed that team just by being there before he got hurt. They needed leadership. They needed someone, because the Rams had a lot of demoralized players. They needed someone to come in, and it's an overused term, change the culture of that team. And he did. He showed up, and he's taking guys under his wing, and he's saying, hey, man, we don't do that here. We got to have higher standards here. And they're like, dang, whoa, we haven't had this, and it's like, he set that up so well. And Trent Green was a heck of a quarterback.
Yeah.
But that night when he got his knee blown over that cheap shot by Rodney Harrison, the Rams were devastated. I was on the phone late at night with their 2 executives, Sean Zigman, and they were like all but crying on the phone. Vermeil was going nuts.
It's just what we're talking about. When your starting quarterback, who you think is good,
right,
you lose him for the season.
Right.
For almost any other NFL team, season's over.
And Dick Vermeil was in a panic mode, as he should have been. And he's like, look, I know Jeff Hostetler's agent really well. Look, we got to try to get him to come out of retirement, because he had just retired. And they brought Mike Martz, much credit. They brought him in because everyone else was freaking out, right? They said, look, what do you think? We need to know your honest assessment of Kurt Warner. And he said, I love this guy. I think we ought to give him a chance. And they're all like, really? And he said, listen, I've treated this guy more poorly than any quarterback I've ever worked with. And they're going like, what? He said the only way he was going to be ready is if I got in his face and was hard on him and put pressure on him and unmerciful, relentless, grind on him over and over and over again. And he handled it perfectly. He liked it, actually. So I know that he said, I know this kid's mentally tough enough. I know he can handle pressure. And he throws a beautiful ball and he's smart, quick release. And so they were like, huh. And I give Mike Martz a lot of credit for the fact that they stayed with Warner and gave him a chance. And his first touchdown, first game he played, regular season dome against the Ravens, 3 touchdown passes. He looked great. And the rest was history.
Yeah, you know, that's a great story about Martz because every NFL quarterback is gifted physically.
Right.
The job is mental. And if it might be mostly mental. And if you can't handle that, it's easily the most important position in all of sports. Easily.
It is. And so that team was so much fun to write about and talk about. It was we'd go to games on the road, and towards the end of that regular season, the Rams were like, it's like Elvis is in the building.
Oh, yeah.
People are just going nuts like in anticipation of what they're going to see. You never knew game to game this crazy stuff Martz was going to come up with that the other team had no idea what are they doing, and he would just he would show us plays like, oh, look at this. Look at this. Look what we got for him here.
See, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know how often that happens, if at all now, but I can't imagine an NFL head coach or coordinator or whatever calling in a reporter say, hey, look what I'm about to do to this team and watch this play. I can't imagine them. They're so secretive.
He's like looking at the way they're setting up a defense. He says, let me show you what we're going to do. He was like a kid and he was like a gamer, right? I mean, he was just so excited because he would find these plays that were like basically 100% guaranteed to work and would screw the defense up and get in their head where they're like, well, what do we do here? These guys are crazy. That kind of stuff. See, that's the side stuff. It was just almost as fun as the actual the football games. Cause I remember before the telling stories out of school. The night before the first home postseason game in St. Louis history, where they beat the Vikings, right? So Martz calls me up on a Saturday night, like as if he doesn't have anything better to do. He said, hey, I just want to tell you something. Off the record, obviously. And I said, yeah. He said, first play, touchdown. I said, what? He said, the way they set up their defense, it's almost laughable. He said, they're giving us candy. They're just letting us, it's a jailbreak. Touchdown. I said, Mike, I know you're wound up. Calm down a little bit, man. First play, Bruce, post, touchdown.
It's awesome, man.
And I said, Jim Thomas, I said, Mike Martz is crazy, but he's a genius.
It's awesome.
I know.
That stuff's so great. You got so many great stories from that My great Super Bowl memory of that Rams team is I'm in college. I'm watching with my friends. And my friend's dog peed on all the food because it was on the coffee table. That's I remember that, and I remember the Mike Jones play. That's my Super Bowl memory of the greatest show on turf. Those players will be celebrated. That team's going to be celebrated at Busch Stadium on Saturday. The greatest show on turf, 25th anniversary. Oh my God.
Awesome. And that team should never be overlooked or forgotten.
Awesome.
I know we're mad about the NFL should be. Those guys didn't move the team.
That's St. Louis's team.
Yeah,
forever,
absolutely.
Forever. Bernie Miklasz is in with me, Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. And one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Touchdown! Kansas City! Can't make it to Kansas City for the big game? No problem. Experience every Kansas City Chiefs game, like you're in the front row at Valley Sports Live in Ballpark Village. Join fellow Chief fans on game day and feel the roar of the crowd right here in St. Louis for the Chiefs. Chiefs Watch Parties, presented by Jim Beam. Don't miss a moment of the action. Head to KMOX.com/events to reserve your table now and cheer the Chiefs to victory.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1932 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1932 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1932 dated gold coin featuring Lady Liberty with an Indian war headdress and a majestic eagle. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1932 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 92 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-520-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus over a $55 value free with every order. Call 1-800-520-6468 now to secure your 1932 $10 gold Indian coins before they sell out. Don't wait. You must act fast. Call now.
Hi, everyone. This is Ben, board certified master arborist with Timberline Professional Tree Care. Here to talk with you about removing dead, dangerous, and unwanted trees from your property. Timberline has recently invested in cutting-edge equipment to remove your trees in the safest, most efficient way possible. In fact, our robotic tree removal can remove trees in about half the time as conventional means, with less manpower and thereby saving you a ton of money. This is just one of the ways that we continue to innovate. Timberline has a cost calculator on our new website, stltreecare.com, which can provide you a guaranteed tree removal quote instantly from the comfort of your own home. Don't hassle with trying to get your brother-in-law's cousin or whoever to come cut your tree down. He's never coming. And that guy that won't call you back, he's never coming either. Save yourself a bunch of time and money and call Timberline Professional Tree Care today at 636-479-7475 or use the cost calculator on our brand new website at stltreecare.com.
At Scrubbles, we're not just about cleaning your car, we're about giving you the freshest ride inside and out. Join now and enjoy a special offer for new members. For just $9.95 per month for the first 2 months, experience the benefits of our Scrubby Scrapping, Ultimate, Super, or Deluxe memberships. With 7 Scrubbles locations open and another coming soon to Wentzville, your membership is valid at all 8 locations. Visit ScrubblesExpressWash.com today to purchase your Scrubbles membership and find a wash near you.
Hey, it's the Cardinal Cowboy. Life can throw us curveballs, like the car accident that put me in a coma 30 years ago. We all have bumps in the road. Lucky for us, we have Renner to get our garage door back on track. Click RENNER door STL.com today. Giddy up!
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Dell Technologies and Intel are pushing what technology can do. So great ideas can happen right now. Bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
I'm Alec Burleson, and you're listening to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It is the Chris and Amy show, but today Bernie Miklasz is sitting in with me, Chris Ranji, until 12 o'clock. We've been talking about the greatest show on turf. We have talked about the Cardinals. We'll have more Cardinals talk coming up. Will Leach, who is Bernie's podcast partner, is going to join us, the Seeing Red podcast. Will is going to be with us at 11:30, just after the news. We've got David Dreyer from Pedal the Cause, really good a charity. They raise money for cancer research, and they've done a fantastic job over the years, raising money for Siteman Cancer Center. So David Dreyer is going to join us next hour as well. Bernie, I don't know how, I'm assuming you've been following along a little bit. I don't know what your feelings are on sports betting.
Right.
I know that there are plenty of people who are against it, but the Emerson polling that came out this week in terms of the sports betting bill, which will be on the November 5th ballot, in the state of Missouri. The polling on it is, at least as of this moment, it appears to be a popular proposition. 52% respond and say that, yes, they think sports betting should be legal in the state of Missouri. The no's and the I don't knows are split pretty evenly, about 22, 23% each. So there can be some movement there. As you see it, does this state need to legalize it? And if so, why?
I'm very much in favor of it because a frustration for me as a sports fan is that, no one should ever tell me what I can't do with my own money, right? I'm not out on the streets like, making drug deals, okay? It's like, but if I'm sitting in my home office and I'm studying the racing form because I grew up in horse racing, and there's a horse, I'm like, wow, I love this horse at this price. I can't make a $20 bet in the privacy of my own home. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And the other thing is that it just doesn't make much sense because Kansas has it, Illinois has it, St. Louisans got to drive across the river.
And people are doing it.
Yeah. Why not take advantage of that revenue? Because people like me are going to wager anyway. There are other ways to wager. I'd be happy to give the state of Missouri a cut of what I invest, right?
Yeah.
It just seems like a no-brainer. I'm sorry.
I think we're very far behind on it. And I know the argument by the pro sports betting crowd has been, well, the money's going to go to education, and that's great if it does.
Right.
I mean, I have doubts about that, but that shouldn't be the argument.
Plus, there's already gambling in our state.
Of course.
So why we draw the line at this?
Well, the argument should be the state, the money is leaving the state.
Right.
Do you want it to continue to leave the
Right.
state, or do you want it to stay here in Missouri?
That's simple.
That
Very
is the
simple.
number one and should be the argument. Like I said, Pedal the Cause is coming up. Again, it is the 15th year of it. Very important for cancer research. Siteman Cancer Center raising money for them. And David Dreyer with Pedal the Cause joins us next on KMOX.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
How could they make things even more tempting at Genesis of St. Charles? How about 0% financing through the end of September? Choose from the area's largest selection of Genesis sedans and SUVs and get 0% financing. Just head to Genesis of St. Charles. Check out the selection and their beautiful state-of-the-art showroom. Once you get behind the wheel of a Genesis, you're going to want one. Take advantage of 0% financing. They're just a quarter mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive off 70, or check out their selection at genesisofstcharles.com.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. The director of Siteman Cancer Center, Dr. Tim Eberlein.
The new building
is going to be focused on clinical care and accrual to clinical trials, and it'll integrate radiology evaluation of patients.
Special thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
At 11 o'clock, we've got sun. It is 80 downtown at the Arch. Sales of existing homes in the U.S. fell compared to the month before to the slowest pace in nearly a year. First-time home buyers also slipped to a near historic low. Jessica Lautz is the deputy chief economist at the National Association of Realtors.
We did see that first-time home buyers have sunk again to matching a historic low that we've seen before, 26% of the market. On the flip side, investors, non-primary residence buyers are back up at 19%, competing for very similar priced properties, more affordable price points. There's a lot of competition at that spot.
Home prices increased on an annual basis for the 14th consecutive month. A St. Charles County-based semiconductor producer is receiving part of a $400 million Biden administration award.
It will be used to help MMC LLC construct a new center to produce silicon wafers for semiconductor chips in national defense and aerospace. The effort will also create 130 manufacturing jobs and construct a new manufacturing center. Site General Manager Carlo Cheney tells MissouriNet there's a reason that the O'Fallon Center was selected.
What we do, no other site in our company does, and very few people in the world do it. There's a limited competition for what we make. So it only made sense that you would expand and put that investment into the existing site and not try to recreate it somewhere else.
The materials are found in essential technology such as smartphones, vehicles, and video game systems. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
There's growing worry the pager and walkie-talkie attacks in Lebanon could open a new front in Israel's war. Correspondent Cammie McCormick.
The U.S. and its allies are concerned as Israel starts a new phase of its war. The fear has long been that a full-scale conflict along its northern border could draw in the U.S. and Iran, which backs Hezbollah. Former acting CIA Director Michael Morrell.
I don't know of any national security problem that has ever been solved with only military means.
But there's no sign of a diplomatic initiative, and the ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas appear stalled.
Security will be tighter for Germany's Oktoberfest.
It's expected 6 million people will take part in Oktoberfest.
Ortschaft ist auf eine friedliche Wiesn.
600 German police officers and 2,000 security staffers will work the event, and metal detectors will be used for the first time in the festival's 189-year history. They'll be at entrances, and some security people will have handheld detectors. Concern is heightened after a deadly knife attack last month in Western Germany. The organizer says he wants Oktoberfest to be the safest place in the country. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
The 52nd annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race is this weekend. Jessica Stegan says,
I think it's probably one of the most organically grown events probably there is in St. Louis. It started in 1973 in Forest Park as a way to with a small group of hot air balloon pilots as a way to bring people into the park.
KMOX was one of the first sponsors in 1973. The Dow from Stifel is up 450 points to 41,953. Some debris on 270 going north at Manchester Road in the right lane has just been cleared. Some road work 55 south at Route M has the left lane and shoulder closed.
Plenty of sunshine and hot this afternoon with a high of 92, then partly cloudy and warm tonight. Perhaps a thunderstorm late, though 72. A stray morning thunderstorm, otherwise partly sunny tomorrow. Hot and humid in the afternoon, high 92. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg and the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
We've got sunshine. It's 80 in Florissant and St. Peter's, also 80 downtown at the Arch. Feels like it's 85. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Real issues that impact your life. No polarizing politics, just relatable conversations. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle.
It is the Chris and Amy Show, Hour 2, but Bernie Miklasz sits in for Amy Mark's course today. Bernie, of course, is part of the KMOX family again. I'll keep saying it. I want to keep reminding you that Bernie is with us now here on KMOX, and he's a legend in town. Chris Ranji with you, not a legend. probably ever. But we have somebody who's doing some fantastic work in the city of St. Louis. He is the executive director of Pedal the Cause. David Dreyer is with us. Pedal the Cause, raising money for Siteman Cancer Center, has been doing so now, David, for 15 years. This has been going on, and Pedal the Cause is this weekend.
That's right, Chris. We are coming up on our 15th ride, which is amazing. Amazing. Started in 2010. Right across the street from here. We started at Soldiers Memorial back in 2010. That was the start-finish line. And we fanned out across the city and had about 900 riders. And this Sunday, we'll have over 3,000 riders.
Oh, man.
And we raised about 900,000 that first year. And our current website total is 3.2 million leading into the weekend. Fundraising goes through October 31st. You know, it's a safe bet. I think we're going to hit a $5 million plus check if the community stays as generous as they've been over these past 15 years.
That's fantastic. I mean, this city does do charitable causes really well, and supporting Pedal the Cause, it obviously a huge part of that. You said 3,000 riders this weekend, but you're going to have more people participate than that, right?
Yeah, you add in volunteers,
Yeah.
you add in Kids Challenge, children ages 3 to 13, you add in some spinners, and you add in spectators. We'll have close to 6,000 people, you know, around the footprint, if you will. And Saturday night is Taste the Cause, which gathers about 7 different restaurants, provide the food. You get a taste of a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And then we have an inspiration program that night. So we'll have 3,000 to 4,000 Saturday night, and then all day Sunday, people coming and going.
Were you there at the very beginning? You were? Okay.
I was there as a rider. I formed a team in my daughter's name, Team Victoria, year one.
The reason I wanted to ask, and again, you know, the history of this, and it's such an exceptional organization, raises an extraordinary amount of money and still going, but I'm always fascinated when someone has an idea to start this and what the expectations were or are. And you said 900,000 the first year, which is really, really good. But did the people then and now, do you ever look back and say, like, it's not always easy to start something like this and have it be incredibly successful for a good cause? Reflect on that and how far this has come. And I'm sure it's a deeply satisfying thing.
Yeah, it is, Bernie. It is hard. It's really hard work. It's hard to get started. That is for sure. The start of Pedal St. Louis was Bill and Amy Coleman. Bill was a 2-time lymphoma survivor at Siteman, and he wanted to pay it forward to the men and women who he said saved his life at Siteman Cancer Center. So he decided the best way would be to start this bike challenge, which was going on up in Boston already. There's a similar bike challenge for Dana-Farber up in Boston that's now 40 plus years old. So he went up and met with the board up there and the executive director and said, "Yep, we can take that model and bring it back to St. Louis with Siteman and Siteman Kids as our beneficiary." And Bill put a lot of effort into those first 3-4 years to get this thing built as a, on its feet, as a brand, as an undertaking, as a community movement, as a liaison to getting the seed capital to the beneficiaries, et cetera, et cetera. And I think without his vision and his hard work in those early days, we wouldn't be here today.
You're right. I mean, starting it is the most difficult thing, but since that has happened, Pedal the Cause has taken off. Can you pinpoint the time where you realized it was going to do that, where it was going to become the big deal it is now?
You know, I think at our 5th birthday party, it was pretty evident that we had a following. We had sort of created a movement, and we were seeing that the money that was raised going to the research projects, the seed capital that these research projects needed to get started, was really effective. And so so as we got ourselves further established and firmly footed in the community, realized that Siteman Cancer Center, which is celebrating their 25th year only this year, was also finding their footing as a national cancer center. And as our fortunes have risen and the monies we've been able to give Siteman researchers, Siteman's fortunes have risen as well. And Siteman's now, by most measures, in the top 3, 4, 5 cancer centers in the nation. And so I think it was knowing we had a beneficiary that really was making a difference with the dollars. We weren't just raising money for whomever, whatever. We were raising it for the best of the best. And that message was loud and clear, and we're seeing the impact of that. And so I think the last 10 years, we knew that this thing was going really well. And the last 5 have been extraordinary, where we have finally cracked that $5 million mark in annual donations.
And you mentioned this before we started, that you're going to hit a really big milestone here this year. In terms of money raised for the total?
Grand total over the 15 years will surpass 50 million.
That's
50.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
And I was reading the notes, and this really jumps out at me as something really cool, and people should know this. For every $1 Pedal the Cause donates to fund cancer research, there's an additional $13 that's going to come from outside sources. Wow! So it's not just the money that you bring in for this; it's who comes behind you, and just makes it even more special. That's a really dynamic thing.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
It really is extraordinary. So that math is there's over $600 million in dollars for research, cancer research here in St. Louis, that started with the 50 million that we were able to seed in there. And that's a testament really to the quality of the research, because those projects that we seed go on a year or 2 or 3 years hence to attract the national sources of dollars from the NIH and other sources like that, because the quality of the science is there. So we've allowed the concept to get proven and on its feet, and now the researchers apply for these big national grants, and it's working. 13-1, it's working well. And I think if they weren't able to attract those extra dollars, it would say to me, well, maybe we're not backing the right research. So it is, for me, a big benchmark as to the quality and the impact of what the undertaking is all about, and gives me great hope for cures.
Outstanding.
David Dreyer, Executive Director of Pedal the Cause, which is this weekend. To get started on Saturday. So you mentioned the Kids Challenge. That'll be the first thing that happens in the morning on Saturday. Then you've got the Taste of the Cause. So tell us about the events taking place on Saturday first, before we get into the ride itself.
So Saturday, we have the Ride Village set up with a closed course, so that your kids ages 3 to 13.
And this is a family arena in St. Charles.
Family arena at St. Charles. Lots of easy parking. We are out on the parking lot itself with tents and so on, but we've left a bazillion parking spaces free for people to park. So it'll be easy in and out. You take the 364-page extension. It's the first exit over the river. It's right there. From Clayton, it's 12 minutes, believe it or not. I'm always amazed at how quick you can get out there. But in the Saturday morning, ages 3 to 13, closed course, parents can be with their children out on the course. So you've got a young one who's still maybe using training wheels. You could walk along this closed course with them and get them around. And there's several waves, depending on age, of going around this closed course, and you can go around as many times as you can. Sort of, that's the challenge for these kids. But even once around is fine by us. And these kids are able to raise money against their efforts. So it really is instilling philanthropy at a young age in these households. So that's cool. And then that evening, we transition the footprint to a dinner for Taste the Cause, and that starts at 4. And at about 6:45, we transition to a main stage where we have an inspiration program with people who have survived cancer. We call them living proof. They are honored first and foremost. This is why we do what we do. And as the years have clicked by, it's beautiful to see that the living proof group of individuals has grown, meaning more and more people are surviving this hideous disease, no matter which form of it they have, right? I mean, cancer comes in so many different forms that, but people are surviving it. So we'll have 300 plus people coming down the center aisle in a procession with a Living Proof T-shirt on. And it's quite a moment. In fact, I kind of get emotional talking about it.
Understandably. It's terrific. It really is.
Then that program carries on, and we talk about the impact of the dollars, and with the researchers and people from Siteman and sponsors, et cetera, et cetera. And then we get ready for, first ride out is at 7 a.m., the 100-milers, the Sentries that put their bike on the Grafton Ferry and cross the Mississippi into Illinois.
Wow.
And they head out at 7, and they'll do their 100 miles with a lot of hills up on the Illinois side in the Pierre Marquette State Park area. Pretty cool.
Very hilly up there. It's extremely. So, can you still get in as a rider, or is it too late for that? Or
wow,
no, you can still get in.
Okay.
Our registration desk can actually
Day of,
register.
you could just show up?
Day of, morning of,
Okay.
up until about 9 a.m. Because we're sending out waves after that 7 a.m. start, depending on the length of ride you're doing. The shortest is 10 miles. So those 10 mile starts will be around 10 a.m. Because they're only going 10 miles out and they can get back by 11:30.
Yeah.
Those are really flat, those courses, and really easy. So I encourage people of all abilities to consider registering still up until the day of.
Okay, that's great. And people could, if they don't want to ride, they can just come out anyway.
They can come out and be a spectator.
Yep.
And enjoy the whole atmosphere. Beautiful footprint, beautiful ride village, a lot of excitement. Like any sporting event, I mean, it takes on sort of a mini Olympics, if you will. I mean, it's big. It's not a little bike ride. It's a big to-do. There's an announcer, a couple of announcers at the start-finish line, a lot of interviewing of the cyclists as they go out on their start wave. We really try to, hone in on why an individual's riding. You can imagine everybody has a story that if they're getting on a bike and they're raising anywhere from $300 to $3,000 for this cause, they have some connection. So we go with a roving mic and we ask in the starting chute, who are you riding in memory of or in honor of today? And everybody has a unique, emotional, impactful story. Yeah.
Pedalthecause.org is the website. If you want information, you can still donate up until, what was the date? October
31st.
October 31st. You can still donate all the way up until then. You can show up at Family Arena in St. Charles up until 9 o'clock. If you want to ride, you can register there. You can do it online
You can still do it online up until then, and we'll be ready for you when you show up at the registration desk if you've done it online in advance.
Great.
And realize, Chris, that you can donate. You can donate to a rider who's reaching out to you to ask for support. But if you don't know one of our 3,000 plus riders, you can go on our website and donate. And those dollars, your dollars, will go to the same research that is being supported. So we're a community of $25 donations. We do get some big ones,
of
but
course.
it's every little bit
That's
comes
awesome.
together to make this $5 million happen.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Definitely.
Thank you, Bernie.
Pedal the
Thanks, Chris.
Cause this weekend gets started at Family Arena in St. Charles on Saturday. 2 days worth of events. Pedalthecause.org. David Dreyer is the executive director. Thanks for coming in again, David. Good to see you.
Thank you, Chris.
It's the Chris and Amy Show. Bernie Miklasz is with me here on KMOX.
California Psychics is the real deal. They helped me out, totally changed my attitude, totally got me psyched to start my business and take a new path in my life.
At California Psychics, we only connect our customers with the best. We reject 98% of the psychics who apply to us, so we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
Tune into the Home Improvement Show, sponsored by Mosby Building Arts, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX for expert advice on remodeling, design, and construction. This live Q&A show begins at 11 a.m. or find podcasts at mosbybuildingarts.com.
There are nearly 70 million people that are currently using Medicare and taking Social Security. When you retire, you could be one of them. The question is, have you figured out how best to use these programs? That's where Steve All and the All Financial Group can help. Join Steve and his team on October 23rd at the All Financial Group office, where Steve will discuss Social Security. And special guest and Medicare consultant Scott Stream will present on Medicare. This event is complimentary, but you must qualify to attend. Call 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Scott Stream and Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC are not affiliated.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636-441-7470, online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
When was the last time you detoxed your body? If you're like most people, the answer is probably never. If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, headaches, bloating, and skin irritation, then those are all telltale signs. So how do you detox your body? Well, you can add saunas or juice fasts, but what you really need is Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver makes it easy to help your liver detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or Meijer, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or 2 half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
St. Louis City SC invites you to the free City Block Party before City takes on rival Sporting KC. Starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday, September 28th, come out to the Lou Fuse Plaza at City Park for live music, local food, drinks, games, giveaways, and more. Visit stlcitysc.com for details.
Stay connected with the heartbeat of St. Louis. KMOX News, bringing you the stories that matter most. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
And a base hit into right. That's your ball game. Jake Bowers, a walk-off single.
Well, that is the sound of the Milwaukee Brewers on Brewers television last night. They needed a Cubs loss in addition to that in order to clinch the National League Central Division. So the Brewers have done so. They have won the Central, 88 wins on the season so far. Reds and Pirates officially have already been eliminated from the postseason. Technically, the Cardinals and Cubs are still alive. Bernie Miklasz is sitting in with me, Chris Ranji. And Bernie, before the season started, we talked about the Cardinals, and we know what happened last year, a miserable year by their standards, and that this division still is winnable. And I do this thing pretty much every year for about the last 6 or 7 years where I say, the Brewers, I'm not worried about them.
Right.
And every single year, they're in it. If they don't win it, they're still hanging around. Well, my question is, are the Brewers now what the Cardinals were?
If we put it in the context of the modernization of front offices and the ability to evaluate prospects and draft development, international signings. Also having all the technology and the tools to help prospects in the minor league, making sure you have a great minor league staff, coaches, instructors, pitching labs, batting labs, and also that it is indeed possible to have really admirable payroll efficiency. Like the Cubs and the Cardinals, I've done the work on this. I didn't do it today, but it's almost funny if you look at what the Brewers have spent on payroll since like 2018 and what the Cubs and the Cardinals have spent. And I think the owners of both of those franchises are probably like, what are we doing? And because the Brewers repeatedly, because you're right. I didn't think they would be. I saw a few different scenarios in the NL Central this year before the year. And I thought, Brewers, they lost counsel. This will be a transition reel. They traded Burns. Woodruff is, or Woodburn, whatever his name is. Sorry. He's hurt. This is like a retooling year for them. No, they were going to kick butt, and they did because they're smart. The front office is so smart. Their coaches are so smart. They lose counsel. A guy like Pat Murphy, really, really good baseball man. They didn't skip a beat. They also know, I think they develop young players, not only in the minor leagues, but the way they handle them in the major leagues. Like Jackson Chourio, 20 years old. He got off to a brutal start this year. Awful. After about 2.5 months. And they're like, no, they get in question. Where are you going to send him down? He needs some. No. We're going to keep working with him, and he'll get there.
You see what they did for him last night in the clubhouse? They because he's 20,
right?
They and they're celebrating in the clubhouse, and they gave him a stroller full of non-alcoholic beer because they wouldn't let him have the good stuff.
I know
it's adorable.
They have great leadership.
They
do.
They got a good culture.
That team this year, like it wasn't easy. They had to replace so many parts in their starting pitching. So many parts, and they found guys. They're like, well, why are they signing him? They're smart. They don't have Devin Williams for the first half. He's one of the best closers in baseball. But did their bullpen give away a lot of games because they didn't have him as a No.
That's why I keep making that comparison. It's not a 1-to-1. But there are some similarities between what the Cardinals were for many, many years and what the Brewers are doing now, where they're just finding a way. And you mentioned the payroll.
Right.
Cubs have the 7th highest payroll in baseball. They're close to $230 million. Cardinals are 12, and the Brewers are down at 21. I mean, they're doing it with a relatively low payroll.
The guy that's running the operation now, and I know we got to go. Matt Arnold. He's a Jeff Luhnow guy. And Bill DeWitt, of course, is the one that brought Jeff Luhnow in and revolutionized the way the Cardinals were doing it.
Yeah.
And Luhnow has all these acolytes out there everywhere running franchises now. So this is
something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And I want to say this about the money spent. This isn't an indication that you shouldn't spend money. You still should.
You got to spend it wisely.
Teams have to spend it wisely, however. Will Leach is the Seeing Red podcast partner of Bernie Miklasz. And he is the founder of Deadspin. He is a contributor for New York Magazine. He's an author. Will Leach joins us next on KMOX.
You're in hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navient's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold at Newbold Toyota and Newbold BMW. I am so confident that my team will take care of every one of your service and sales needs. I'll give you my cell phone, 618-791-5470. Newbold Toyota or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
At 11:30, sunshine. It's 82 downtown at the Arch. Wall Street is reacting positively after the Federal Reserve's interest rate cut. Stocks rose at the market open after falling yesterday following the rate cut announcement. Market strategist Art Hogan says the Fed is trying to slowly pull back its restrictions as inflation eases.
The Fed is really trying to become less restrictive with their monetary policy, and this is a great first step. And the market is really enthusiastic about that because remember, we've had the rates at 5.5% since last July. Right, so it's been over a year, and we clearly have started to win the battle with inflation.
Roadwork on 6440 going east at McCausland, and MoDOT says all lanes closed. Also some debris on 6440 going west at 44 around downtown. Right, 2 lanes are closed, 2 lanes are open there. This afternoon, sunshine and hot with a high of 92. Thunderstorm late tonight, low 72. For tomorrow, start with a storm, then sunny the rest of the day. Humid as well with a high of 92. Right now it's 82. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
This is Debbie Monterey. Join us for the Business of Family Business here on KMOX. My partner is Kevin Short of Clayton Capital Partners.
Yeah, great guest. You're going to hear a great interview talking about how their dad founded this business back in the 80s and how it has grown to be a very formidable force in the construction industry. So please join us.
It's going to be Saturday at 2 right here on KMOX. It's the Business of Family Business with Petker Construction only on KMOX.
Fall is here. Football, beautiful weather, and the changing colors of trees and shrubs. When you think of your trees, call family-owned Gamma Tree Experts. Fall is a great time to prune and fertilize your valuable trees. Our staff of certified arborists will survey your trees to determine their needs. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Call Gamma Tree Experts at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Wait a little longer. Great. You may have just increased your lifetime income by tens of thousands of dollars. That's how Social Security can work for you. The longer you wait, the more money you may get. Deciding when to start taking your Social Security benefits is one of the most important retirement decisions you'll make. Kyle Jones and Matt Allgaier and the team at Fire Capital Management, formerly Heisey Advisory Group, can show you the options and help make the right decisions for you and your situation. Call them today, 314-328-4400. You spent decades paying in, optimize what comes out. Kyle Jones and Matt Allgaier and the Fire Capital Management team can help you squeeze every penny out of your Social Security benefits. Call now, 314-328-4400. That's 314-328-4400. Firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
I'm shortstop Mason Wynn, and you're listening to the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Bernie Miklasz is sitting in on the Chris and Amy Show today with me. Chris Ranji is with me until 12 o'clock today. We've got a lot coming up on the show. Then Dave Glover at 1 o'clock. But it is time to go to the Quiver River Electric guest line. And this Bernie Miklasz report, usually it's here on a Thursday, is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. We've got Bernie here. We've also got our guy, Will Leach, who is the founder of Deadspin, New York Magazine. He's a contributor there. MLB.com is an author. And Bernie, have you met Will Leach?
Yeah, quite a few times.
Will, do you know Bernie Miklasz?
I'm vaguely familiar. It sounds like the voice that's on the other line of the podcast, but I'm confused.
Oh,
I gotta tell you, talking to Bernie Miklasz on KMOX, by the way, is my happy place. By the way, this is where I go to find warmth and happiness.
I mean, the story's been told a million times by millions of people, but you growing up with your excellent parents in Mattoon, Illinois, and you and Brian Leach, your mom, before every game was televised. It's such a familiar and a lovely story. KMOX was it. I mean, you just listen to KMOX, and over and over and over again. So, this Will Leach, Cardinals baseball, it's a cliche, is in his blood. It's in his DNA. I mean, it's amazing how much this guy loves this team. You know, and it's it's something really important to him.
For better or worse. For better or worse.
I'll tell you what, for a long time, Deadspin was one of those websites that, you wake up for the day, and one of the first websites you check for me would be Deadspin. And I always appreciated how much trouble they gave the Cardinals. And I think it was just to take a shot at you, Will. The other writers on the website just wanted to go after you.
Needle me. It was a way to needle me for a while, and then it became like a bigger deal. And now my favorite thing is people will get it confused, and they'll be like, "Wait, we remember Deadspin not liking the Cardinals, and then we remember Will doing Deadspin. Does he not like the Cardinals?" I'm like, "No, it's the opposite of that. It's the opposite of that." So, but yes, getting to talk to Bernie every week on Seeing Red is that's my happy place.
I don't think I ever told Will this, and I'll be quick. I think it was Drew Magary who's vicious and funny and
I like
really
Drew
good.
a lot.
I do too.
Very good.
They were
writer.
doing this thing for a while where they would pick out like the lead sports columnist in every city and basically tell everyone why he's garbage, right? And they never, and it was funny. I would laugh when they just eviscerate some other columnist, and I'm like, well, I know Will kind of likes me. Is Will protecting me? Are they going to do this to me? They never did. So I don't know what
I'm just saying you're a protected guy.
Oh, good. That's good. That's you want to be protected. Deadspin was it was such a great site for a long time. Will, it's good to have you on again. We were just talking about the National League Central. The Brewers have clinched the division. I think going into the year, we all kind of thought, well, the Cardinals have an opportunity to win this division. I don't think much of the Brewers. They're not going to do anything, and yet here they are again, winning the division.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that one of the reasons that I think a lot of people picked the Cardinals to win the division and did not pick the Brewers to win the division was this idea that, well, the Cardinals have continuity, right? Like this last place season, this can't possibly what they're going to be moving forward. That's an aberration. The Cardinals do it every year. We've seen this front office do smart things. And I think the Cardinals got the benefit of the doubt on that. I think that will stop now. I think that benefit of the doubt goes to the Brewers. I think this is a perfect example, not just losing their manager, but losing Corbin Burns and being better, right? And I think that there has been a general very good vibe with the Brewers since the season has started. I think they're one of those teams. They're actually, if you talk to a Brewers fan, this is one of their more beloved teams, even though they've won, they've made the playoffs quite a few times in the last few years, because it feels like one of those teams that's more than the sum of their parts. And I think that has led to, and not that they don't have a lot of talent, but I think Jackson Churio is going to be bothering Cardinals fans for many, many years to come. But I do think that this is a team that is, it adds up to more than necessarily you think the talent have there, which frankly is what the Cardinals used to do. I think that benefit of the doubt that the Cardinals used to get, I definitely think that's the Brewers thing now, and I think probably for good reason.
Yeah, that's well said. I agree with you. And Will Leach and myself on Seeing Red, we've had this conversation, or different forms of this conversation, many, many times. I think the Brewers actually have clarified some things for me, because the Brewers don't spend a lot of money. They're 21st this year. Ranji just looked that up. And a lot of Cardinals fans, a lot of Cubs fans, and I'm not knocking anybody, I'm just saying, we all know this is true. They get mad because the Cardinals don't spend more money. They don't spend more money. You got to spend more. You got to payroll. But no, you just have to be smart about what you spend. And the Brewers have been kicking the hindquarters of the Cardinals and the Cubs for quite a few years now. And I don't think anyone in Milwaukee's like going nuts over the fact their payroll's 21st. They're just really, really smart. I'm more about, this is what you got to change in your organization. You need to do this, need to do that, need to do that. I've always said this. I've said this a lot. I really don't need Bill DeWitt to spend stupid money and throw money away, incinerate money for no reason. I want to see really smart signings, and kind of pinpoint what area you need to attack and go attack it. It's not all about writing checks. The Brewers prove that.
Yeah, it's funny when you look at the Brewers, they did do one big contract, right? They gave Christian Yelich like a big, huge contract after he won his MVP, and it certainly looked like he would be an MVP candidate for years to come. And he's certainly been a good player, but they paid him as like the superstar guy, and he hasn't turned out that way. He's been good. He's hurt for the rest of this year. But the point is, they're spending the times they've spent have actually not worked out great for them. I think what matters, I think that's the key when we talk about team spending is we want you to supplement something that is already built with this franchise. I think that's what you see with the Brewers. They can get a average Yelich or a slightly above average Yelich rather than the superstar Yelich that I think they were paying for. And that's okay because they've got guys that step up in other places. They've got a farm system that works out very well. They make those small, smart little things. Reese Hoskins has been a good one. Willie Adames, he's probably their best player, and I think that and he may leave after this offseason. He's a free agent, and the Brewers will have someone to replace him too. That has always been the key for teams, particularly in NL Central, that have won that division and dominated the division over the years. It's not about going out and getting the big free agent. By all means, I still think the Cardinals sometimes don't go after that when they should. I remember when they did not go after Bryce Harper, and that would still be paying itself off well a lot. Yeah. So I think it's certainly there. But I also think the larger thing here is you've got to have a system in place to where if you have a bad contract or if you don't get that big player, you've got enough guys to fill up. That's been the key to Cardinals' success, and frankly, it's just something we haven't seen the last few years.
See, and I think you're both totally right. And I agree with you on the Harper thing. You have to do the other stuff. You have to draft. You have to develop. That's going to be 90% of what you do. But do not be afraid to hit the home run. Don't be afraid to sign Bryce Harper. And you think it won't pay off for you, but it will. I mean, in terms of production, it's paid off for Philly in a very big way. He's got one MVP season in there. And also in terms of just fan sentiment and revenue he would bring back, he's going to pay for his salary. That's why I would say don't be afraid to do that every now and then, but be careful on it.
They had a chance to sign Max Scherzer. He wanted to come home. This was before he went to Washington. And he sent word that, we'll work with you. In other words, he wasn't out to get the highest dollar amount. And they thought, well, it's very risky. Pitchers are very risky. They break down. And I know Bill DeWitt III has said, that's probably the biggest mistake we ever made. And that's to reinforce Will's point and your point, Raj.
But I think that's the thing about spending too. It's spending smartly, right? Like the Cardinals have certainly gone out and got some guys, but they haven't. Listen, they've been willing to spend on the mid-tier guys or to fill like a slot guy, like Brett Cecil. I always use as the example of this. They clearly needed
Dexter Fowler.
If it's yeah, exactly. And I think Fowler actually did a little bit more than Cecil did at a certain level. But that was the idea, that you needed, this makes sense. They need a left-handed reliever. This is the best left-handed reliever on the market. So they're going to go attack and try to do that. That's on a certain level, that's spending. But what it does is it puts you in a situation where you're basically paying for mid-tier talent at premium prices as opposed to top-tier talent at premium prices. And I think that's the difference. And I think if you look at Harper, if you look at the reactions when Harper signed, there were a lot of people being like, wow, 2033? He signed to 2033? This guy's already had some injury problems. What's going to happen? And now look at the Phillies. And they spend more than the Cardinals do. But that contract has already paid itself off, and he hasn't even won a World Series there.
We'll think about it this way.
That's the idea.
Will, he's making $27.5 million for the next several years. In modern, in 2024 terms, it isn't that bad. $27.5 million is not that bad per year for a guy like that.
And it was, but the really key thing for the Phillies though is that they were able to, there's different routes to do this, right? Like the Phillies are going a different way than the Orioles have done, for example. Those are two playoff teams this year. Orioles are falling a little bit right now, but it's still a good franchise and they're set up to make the playoffs for a few times. They're doing it in a very different way than the Phillies are. The Phillies have that Dombrowski, go get those veteran guys and try to do it. And then you've got the Orioles who, look at just yesterday, the Orioles waived Craig Kimbrell. That was their big free agent assignment. That's an organization that's made a lot of good decisions, and so that to show their fans, oh look, we're spending money. They bought a reliever who was at the end of his career and gave them more of a headline than production. That's what you've got to avoid. But they can absorb that because they had so much talent elsewhere. That's the issue with the Cardinals right now. It's not that the Cardinals don't have talent. They do, but it's just they don't have quite enough of it. And more to the point, they don't seem to have a system for maximizing that talent. One of the things that's been so encouraging in this week where the Cardinals have been winning is like, wow, this is the Jordan Walker everyone thought they were going to get this year. And I think that, the idea of sure, Goldschmidt and Arenado took steps back this year, and it's hard to win when your stars do that. But the Cardinals were also expecting Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman to be centerpieces of this team, and that's young talent that hasn't developed. That, to me, is the larger issue than a free agent contract that doesn't work out. If you've got young players, if you're planning on being the cornerstone of your team, not just this year, for years to come, and when they don't pay off, they don't develop, that seems more of an organizational problem than necessarily a money problem.
Bernie Miklasz here, and I work with Will Leach. We do a podcast every Monday. We record it, Seeing Red. You can find it wherever you get your podcast. Will's a very reasonable guy, so keep that in mind when I ask this question, because he's not going to go on a tirade and demand that everyone be dumped into the river and all that, But as a reasonable fan, and we're in the dark because we're not sure what the Cardinals have planned about their front office, but as a reasonable fan who loves this team dearly, what do you want from them this offseason? What do you want to see? It can be a general thing. It can be just an area. What does Will Leach want to see?
One of the things we discussed on the podcast this week, Bernie, was the idea that whether the Cardinals make big, dramatic front office moves this offseason or not, their team is probably going to look pretty similar next year. I don't think there's not big veteran. If people, I'll tell you, the Cardinals should just rebuild. The Cardinals really don't have a lot of guys to trade in a rebuild. The ideal Cardinals team right now probably looks kind of like it does next year. Probably looks like it does now, right? You want Walker in there, you want Gorman in there, you want Dom, you want to see you got Newbar. That's still the guys that you're building on. The Cardinals will not and should not just go sign a bunch of guys. So for me, you see those empty seats out there, and that's the alarming idea. Those empty seats, we've seen more people at games with teams that have been Cardinals teams that have been 500 like this. The Cardinals are above 500. They may well finish above 500 this year. They've actually had a better year than their underlying statistics would argue. We still see those empty seats in the stands. And I think that's the concern, is how you persuade people to continue to feel like this ship is moving in the right direction, or if it's not, feel like there will ever be any sort of structural change. And so I don't want anyone thrown in the river, to be as clear as possible. But I do think that a change, I think, makes a lot of sense. Not because the people in charge are fools or they've just done all these terrible decisions, because I don't think that's true. And certainly when it comes to someone I see some of the vitriol toward John Mozeliak, and to me that feels like, while I understand some frustration with some moves that have been made, he's going to wear a red jacket in the Cardinals Hall of Fame sometime. He's been for a long time. So you've got to be respectful about all these things. But also, if you tell Cardinals fans right now, hey, this team's going to look, next year's team's going to look a lot like this year's team, which frankly, I think it's going to, and I think it's probably the smart move in a lot of ways to do that. If you tell them that, but don't make any underlying structural changes to give people faith that this will be different and there's an understanding that these results are not acceptable, I think you're going to have more attendance problems next year. And I think that's a worry. It's not just a worry for the DeWitts. The Cardinals are a team that's always punched above its weight, in large part because of its fans. And I think if you put that in peril, I think it's a dangerous situation.
Will Leach, it's good to talk to you again, my friend. We're looking forward to the next Seeing Red podcast with you and Bernie Miklasz, and thank you for joining us today.
Of course. See, I'm a reasonable guy. Nobody
You are.
in the river.
No,
I think, Nobody in the river.
Very reasonable guy. That's become my go-to phrase. It's like, you want to take Ali Marmol and just dump him in the river. It's just I'm using a bad metaphor there. So anyway.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Will. Will Leach, founder of Deadspin, contributor to New York Magazine and MLB.com, and of course on the Seeing Red podcast with Bernie Miklasz, which comes out every week.
Is this where I talk about Saliga?
This is where you talk about Saliga.
All right. See, I'm getting to know the routine.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been speaking on behalf of Saliga Heating and Cooling for a long time. That's because we've been in our home, Saliga clients and customers, for more than 15 years. So we know firsthand how great they are, and they are great. So I'm happy to be here talking to you again about Saliga Heating and Cooling, as I've done for a long time. They're an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. They've been serving the community here in St. Louis since 1927. How's that for credibility? How's that for trustworthiness with that track record? This is a great time with the fall on the way to make sure you're prepared for the fall and the winter. You're going to want the peace of mind of knowing you'll have heat for your home, your business, or both. And as someone who really admires Dan Saliga, who runs the place and owns the place, fourth generation owner and operator of this proud family institution that has been serving so many St. Louisans and so many businesses for nearly 100 years. And you can trust them. They are reliable. They're really, really, really outstanding at what they do. They do residential work, commercial work, all makes and models, repairs, updates, installing new American Standard equipment. They also have a maintenance program I would encourage you to join. We're in it, and that way you have peace of mind before the summer and peace of mind before the fall and the winter that your systems are working great. The easy way to do, if you want to call them, 314-481-7333, 314-481-7333, or go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
That's my guy, Bernie Miklasz, who is hanging out with me for just a few more minutes here. We have been talking Cardinals for a lot of the day. The Cardinals Report brought to you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Like I said, a few more minutes with Bernie Miklasz. We're coming up next on KMOX.
California Psychics is the real deal. They helped me out, totally changed my attitude, totally got me psyched to start my business and take a new path in my life.
At California Psychics, we only connect our customers with the best. We reject 98% of the psychics who apply to us, so we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
All right, well, the seasons are changing, and that means rodents, they are looking for a place to hole up for the winter. And by golly, your house looks great. And if there is one mouse in your house, that mouse is most likely not alone. There's never just one. Mice, they will travel in their little troop, and they tend to make their way indoors as the temperatures drop. And it's crazy that they can get to your home through the tiniest of cracks and crevices, even small enough that it's hard to see with your naked eye. Again, I don't know how they do it, but they manage to get inside. Rottler will take care of those pests for you, so you don't have to worry about cleaning up little mouse poop all over in your utensil drawer on your counters, because yes, that happens. And they always make their way to the kitchen. It's very frustrating. Also, maybe spiders, roaches, crickets, silverfish. They find your way into your home as temperatures cool down. They're looking for food and a warm place to spend the winter. Don't let that be your home. Rottler can protect your home. They have a reputation for personal service because they're the largest family-owned pest control company in Missouri. 877-ROTTLER, 877-ROTTLER, or rottler.com.
Join us in Forest Park on September 20th and 21st for the Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend, presented by PNC Bank. Attendance is free, and the number of memories and photos you can capture is endless. Special thanks to Wash U, Blue Moon, and Miller Lite, Purina, and St. Louis Children's Hospital. The events page at KMOX.com has all your details. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
How could they make things even more tempting at Genesis of St. Charles? How about 0% financing through the end of September? Choose from the area's largest selection of Genesis sedans and SUVs and get 0% financing. Just head to Genesis of St. Charles. Check out the selection and their beautiful state-of-the-art showroom. Once you get behind the wheel of a Genesis, you're going to want one. Take advantage of 0% financing. They're just a quarter-mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive off 70, or check out their selection at genesisofstcharles.com.
Do you have shoe boxes full of photos? Today only, radio listeners get VIP access to the new Photo Legacy Box. Get your family's photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of 4x6 photos. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Visit legacybox.com/value to get 200 photos scanned starting at just $19.95. Oh, and don't forget, LegacyBox also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media, so you can get your favorite memories on VHS or grandpa's film reels from the 40s digitized too. Take advantage of this exclusive offer on the new Photo Legacy Box today and preserve your past for as low as 7 cents. Go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
St. Louis City SC is turning up the heat at the club's free pre-match City Block Party, starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday, September 28th, all before kickoff against rival Sporting KC. Come out to Lou Fuse Plaza, located steps from City Park, for live music from Tef Poe, Strings EMB, Darkwood, and others. Get special rivalry match merchandise and enjoy local food and drinks, games, giveaways, and so much more. For all the details, visit stlcitysc.com. We've got the sauce. Pour it on, St. Louis.
The 2-0 Chiefs head to Atlanta to take on the Falcons this Sunday.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Hear the game here. Siteman Cancer Center, game time 7:20 on your home for Chiefs football. KMOX.
All right, Bernie Miklasz, the Mizzou Tigers, they host Vanderbilt. They are the number 7 team in the country, Mizzou is. Got about 30 seconds for thoughts. What do you think?
Vanderbilt's a little bit of a sleeper. They took a big step back losing to Georgia State last week, but I don't think Mizzou should take them lightly. I don't think they will. For the investment people, I was looking at the line. Mizzou's a 21-point favorite in this game.
Yeah.
That seems a bit much to me, but Mizzou's defense is playing really, really well. The 2 new running backs are exceptional. I think Brady Cook will get sharper. Mizzou's got a lot of forward momentum. They'll handle this game, but I would like to see a dominant performance rather than one where they have to show they can overcome adversity or whatever. They did that last week against BC.
Also, Illinois got a big one against Nebraska, 2 top 25 teams. They'll play tomorrow night, both of them undefeated. That'll be a fun one to watch as well. Bernie, this was awesome. We'll do it again.
I loved every minute of it. Thank you for inviting me in. It was really a pleasure, and it's good to meet everybody in the operation here.
You can come in whenever you want.
I will.
Just stroll in.
I'll show up.
Yeah, I don't care. 10:30, just walk in. I don't care.
Walk in, I'll be sleeping in the corner.
It doesn't matter.
Just waiting.
As long as you're here, we'll wake you up. Bernie, it's time to go on. Bernie Miklasz, you're the best. We'll see you again soon. We'll talk on Tuesday. That is Bernie Miklasz with me, Chris Ranji. We still got another hour to go. You're listening to KMOX.
At Scrubbles, we're not just about cleaning your car, we're about giving you the freshest ride inside and out. Join now and enjoy a special offer for new members. For just $9.95 per month for the first 2 months, experience the benefits of our Scrubbies Graphene, Ultimate, Super, or Deluxe memberships. With 7 Scrubbles locations open and another coming soon to Wentzville, your membership is valid in all 8 locations. Visit ScrubblesExpressWash.com today to purchase your Scrubbles membership and find a wash near you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When it comes to retirement, you don't need to worry or sweat the small stuff if you have Sachs Financial on your side. Sachs Financial, home of the Retirement Compensation Plan. SACHS, Sachs Financial, because income is the outcome that matters. RetireSafeSTL.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is a commercial for California Psychics, America's most trusted psychic network. So, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. No, really, this is it. You won't see your soulmate's face in the clouds or your career path mapped out in your cappuccino foam. This really is it. We could add some dramatic sound effects if you'd like. So what you waiting for? Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
It's 12 o'clock in mid-America. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Sunny sky, 84, downtown at the Arch. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy is trying to assure that the U.S. Postal Service is prepared for the flood of mail-in ballots. Despite concerns raised by election workers and differences in election laws by state, DeJoy says the agency is up to the task.
We are and must be the uniform element in a sea of variation. We don't control when ballots are mailed by election officials or when they must be returned. But we do want to do our best to ensure that our system is effective for voters who choose to utilize us to cast their ballot.
The first batch of mail-in ballots for the November election were sent last week to absentee voters in Alabama. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Paris, where talks are focusing on the worsening situation in the Middle East. CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick.
Blinken said France and the U.S. are united in calling for restraint in the Middle East and in Lebanon in particular. He said a ceasefire in Gaza remains the best way forward.
We continue to work to get a ceasefire for Gaza over the finish line. We believe that remains possible and necessary. But meanwhile, we don't want to see any escalatory actions by any party that make that even more difficult.
Ahead of Blinken's arrival in Paris, French President Macron called Lebanese officials as well as Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Hezbollah's leader said today his group will stop its attacks on northern Israel only when Israel ends its war in Gaza. A federal initiative to bolster the U.S. semiconductor supply chain will create hundreds of jobs in O'Fallon, Missouri.
MEMC LLC, a global semiconductor producer, will use part of a $400 million federal award to construct a new center to produce silicon wafers in semiconductors in national defense and aerospace. Site General Manager Carla Cheney tells Missouri Net COVID helped people realize the importance of semiconductors, calling it an issue of national security.
What some of these materials and even our customers' products go into, we really don't want to be duplicated overseas, right? We don't want to be purchasing as a U.S. economy these things from overseas.
These semiconductors are used in video games and vehicles. The expansion is creating 500 construction jobs and 130 manufacturing jobs. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
With music at the intersection last week and Evolution Festival next weekend, St. Louis is in the midst of festival season. Explore St. Louis's Kat Neville says Evolution's location in Forest Park and the lineup make it easy to enjoy.
It's a wonderful festival. We're so lucky to have it. Like, bring your lawn chairs, plunk yourself down, and enjoy Forest Park while you're also enjoying this, fantastic lineup. The Killers are going to be there. Billy Idol, Todd Rundgren is going to be playing. It's going to be fantastic.
Evolution Music Festival is next Saturday and Sunday. You can purchase weekend or single-day passes. And the Dow from Stifel is up 530 points to 42,033.
Plenty of sunshine and hot this afternoon, high 92, then partly cloudy tonight, low 72. There may be a thunderstorm in the area late tonight and early tomorrow, then partly sunny the rest of tomorrow, hot and humid, the afternoon high 92. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
And at the moment, we've got sunshine. It's 84 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Rich Orris hosts the KMOX Home Improvement Show, presented by Mosby Building Arts. Saturday at 11 on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Hour 3 of the Chris and Amy show. Bernie Miklasz had been sitting in with me for the first couple of hours. I'm certain we're going to do that again at some point because Amy Mark's course takes 500 vacations a year, and she's on her 499th right now. She'll be back next week, though, with us. I'm Chris Ranji, and it's good to have you along for the ride today. We are joined in studio now by Ward 6 Alderwoman here in the city of St. Louis, Daniela Velasquez, who is joining us, and glad to have you in. Daniela, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
So wanted to talk to you, Alderwoman, about some of what's happening in the legislative session now. And in particular, I am very interested in the city of St. Louis and the amount of vacant properties around the city that just sit there. And there's one in particular that I think about a lot, and that is that the Millennium Hotel downtown, which has weeds growing out of it. And for years, I've been commenting on the weeds growing out of a hotel in the center of the city, right across the street from Busch Stadium. It's not the only one. It's happening around the city, and there is an effort to maybe give the city more teeth in dealing with these problem properties. Tell us about that.
Sure. Well, one, thank you for having me again, Chris. Also, thank you for your interest in this. I know sometimes talking about vacant properties is not the super sexiest thing.
It isn't, but it matters so much for this city in particular.
It does. So, as you probably know, St. Louis has one of the highest rates of vacant properties in the country. So, of the 109 some odd properties in St. Louis, there are about 25,000, slightly under, that are vacant. It's about 23%, so it is significant. And one of the reasons that I proposed what was Board Bill 72 and passed and will now be Proposition V for vacancy on the November ballot is to try and give the city one more tool in its toolbox to address these vacant properties and adjust the charter to give stiffer penalties to absentee landlords who might rather speculate on property than actually invest and do something about it.
Well, part of the problem, as I understand it, is a lot of these properties are owned by people or entities that aren't here. They are somewhere else, like the hotel I referenced, owned by a company in Singapore. What do they care, right? And when the cap is something like $500, that's all you can penalize. Why wouldn't you just say, I don't care, we'll pay $500?
Right. And that's exactly what we're trying to stop, because the $500 cap is in our city's charter. And that cap was set in 1970. So we did some math, some inflation math, and that's about $4,000 today, which
is still too low.
Which is still too low. Right. But it 500 is definitely what we've seen is that, just as you described, particularly corporations who are out of the state, maybe even out of the country, or even in other parts of the region, that chalk up the $500 times 2, which is the max we can charge, is just the cost of doing business instead of investing in our community. And as you've probably seen, one vacant property on a block can really destabilize a whole block. And it creates incredible quality of life issues for residents. And so that's what we just want to help make the city a better place. And we need some other mechanisms to do that than we can right now.
So what would this proposal do?
So it's a little bit wonky, but as is government sometimes. So basically what we are asking voters to do is lift the $500 cap, which is in our city's charter, and then authorize the Board of Aldermen to write new laws. And so with any charter change, the reason it has to go to the ballot is because it's a charter change. So we can't legislate that. It has to go to the people.
Yeah. So let's say this does pass, it goes through. There's a whole process then that the city would have to go through in order to make the new laws. What's the difficulty in doing that, in going through that process and then determining, all right, what's an appropriate punishment for a property owner that is just letting a building rot?
Sure. Well, we love democracy. And if you've ever gone to, we call HUD's meeting, but the Housing and Urban Development meetings, which are the board, that's the committee that would hear these bills. They are spicy and filled with commentary. But when I'm choosing to manifest it, when Proposition V passes, we'll have to write bills at the Board of Aldermen, and they will go through the HUD's committee. I think what you've described with the efforts that the mayoral administration is doing to address vacant properties, what I've seen at the board is that We all know that this is a big issue. And so I think it's something that we'll come together and work on. When I originally filed the bill, I was initially the only sponsor. And then by the time it passed, I think I had 6 other co-sponsors. Most of the Board of Aldermen support it. The Collector of Revenue, Greg Daly, testified in favor of it. Adam Lane supports it, our city's treasurer. So realistically, why, of course, we will probably negotiate around the details like most legislative bodies do. I think what I've seen is that overall, the city's leaders are committed to reducing and addressing vacancy. We just need the tools to do it.
How much? Let's talk about this problem specifically. We try to identify all the problems that exist in St. Louis, and there are a lot of them, and we talk about them a ton here. How big of a problem is this one? Is this particular issue for the city of St. Louis?
Well, I think it's significant, right? Because if you're somebody who lives on a block with one vacant or deteriorated property, it's a big issue for you. What I see, so my ward covers Shaw, Tower Grove South, Compton Heights, and a portion of Dutchtown. And what we've seen, similar to what you described, not quite Millennium Hotel,
That's just maybe that's the most famous example I could think of.
well,
And
no, but we've so Shaw before, or RIP the RFT, but before the RFT went under, I mean, they rated Shaw as like the hottest neighborhood in town. And we still have, I can name at least or point out at least 5 vacant properties. One, there's right on Shaw Boulevard that doesn't look vacant from if you drive on the street, but if you ride behind the alley, it's like a jungle, right? So, how do you, when we talk about economic development and economic growth and wanting to bring people into the city, A, you don't want to live next to a property like that. B, how do you get rid of vacant properties in the hottest neighborhood in town? So that's what I see. There's another example that we have, and I will not name the block of Castleman, but it's very nice houses. Again, hot neighborhood, has a hole in the roof, and the owner lives in the county, right? And so and those are the things that when you talk about the things that matter to people, like the everyday, not the policy stuff, they want to be able to walk in their neighborhood. That's why they love the city. They want to be able to talk to their neighbors. They want to be able to feel safe. And vacant properties or deteriorated properties really disrupt that. When you think about places that might have squatters or just, sometimes there are fires at condemned, properties. And again, I've got another example on Utah that has been, the neighborhood has worked for it, but it's got, essentially very nice big houses and there's a condemned house in the middle of it. Right. And so if we want to continue the growth in the city, we really have to address that, because at the end of the day, that's what matters to people, is how they feel when they go, when they go home, or they want to be able to sit on their porch without feeling scared.
Is it possible to even get to a point where the law is such that if a property owner wants to leave a building looking like that and doing nothing with it and thinking, I don't have to see it, I don't care, that you could take it away from them?
Well, that would be a different set of laws outside of this proposition. But I think there is an impetus, and what you're seeing with all these different efforts, like we have the Vacancy Collaborative, which is, was not around 5 or 10 years ago. That's basically a coalition of neighborhood organizations with help from CDA and the city, like working to address these properties. You have the efforts that the mayor is doing to, address vacant properties downtown. And so we really have to think about all the tools and what tools we have and what tools we should use. My caution there is that I think you have to have a process where it's not easy for the government to take away your property.
Well,
right?
of course.
And like eminent domain has been used historically in inequitable ways. Right. So I think that we have to have some caution there. However, I think St. Louis, I think we are coming together. We have to continue to come together to show these property owners who have, blatant disregard for the quality of life, that it's unacceptable and that they can't do it and that they won't get away with it and there will be penalties. And that's what I want to see. I want to see people doing the right thing because they should. And if they don't, then they're scared that they're going to get penalized, and it causes them to do the right thing.
So I guess I don't really quite understand. There must be some benefit to it. Otherwise, property owners wouldn't do it. But what is the benefit of owning a good piece of land in a good neighborhood that is up and coming, that people want to move to, and not doing something with it that maybe you could sell. Like, I mean, you could build a nice house on a property that is a mess and maybe rent it out. Like, why would a property owner not do that? Are they somehow making more money by letting it sit the way it is?
I think what you're seeing is that we have a lot of folks speculating on land and holding out for what they think is going to be a better deal.
Okay.
And because the penalties aren't harsh enough, and maybe they're not living there, so they don't know what that feels like. They keep doing that, but that's what we're seeing is a lot of again, you nailed it, property owners essentially speculating and sitting on things, thinking that it's going to go up, but it really causes everything to decrease, right? And creates more problems.
St. Louis Alderwoman Daniela Velasquez is with us here in studio. So like I said, this is a thing I care a lot about. It's not like it affects me personally, but it makes the city look worse. And I think it just creates more difficulty for us. But with this legislative session coming up, there were some other things that you wanted to talk about today.
Sure, but before I stop about Prop V,
sure,
I just want to say that we've been working with community partners. So I mentioned the Vacancy Collaborative. It's a coalition of organizations. They support it. The St. Louis Realtors have supported and endorsed it.
Have you had much pushback?
Not really. I mean, I think I think a couple from sometimes maybe some landlords who probably know they could be doing a better job in keeping up their property.
Sure.
But generally, I think that when I hear folks at the neighborhood meetings, they're mostly like, "Oh yeah, we should do that."
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Of course.
So the other things?
Yeah.
So some of these things, this particular Prop V was sort of born out of the Charter Commission recommendations. And it wasn't a direct recommendation, but it was something that Peter Hoffman of Legal Services testified at our public hearing and mentioned this. And we're like, oh, we should do that. We should do that now. So that's how this particular proposition was birthed, if you will. There's a couple other propositions related to the Charter Commission's work that will also be on the ballot. One is Proposition B for budget, and it is giving the Board of Aldermen more authority over the budget. Right now, we can only decrease in our city's budget. We can't add anything, and that's really an outlier with A, best practices, and B, most city councils can add and subtract things to the budget. So it just makes us have the ability to adjust the budget based on what we hear from the people that we serve. The next one, Proposition T, you might sense a theme here that
I like it. Yeah. It's very easy to follow this way.
Yes, and they let us actually pick the proposition letters.
That's nice.
They do, right?
They didn't force it on you.
No. Yeah. So Proposition T, it's for the Department of Transportation. T is for transportation. And it would basically it would create a Department of Transportation that would not be set to start in 2029. And there was some negotiations with the mayoral administration on that date. And this proposition is a bill that was filed by Alderman Browning. And it would essentially pull all the functions that are in different departments and streamline it. So we have a Department of Transportation, which will be able to take a more holistic view. Right now, things are seem to be siloed, and that's kind of been the case. Other cities, like Chicago, has a Department of Transportation. Smaller cities do. So I'm obviously in favor of both of these. And then one that's not from the Charter Commission recommendations, but is related, and I know is of interest to people, is Proposition S for short-term rentals.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a whole charter alphabet after this. And it basically would create a use tax, sort of like what we do with hotels already.
Yeah.
For short-term rentals, so 3%.
Like Airbnb.
Exactly. Yeah. And it would go to the Affordable Housing Trust and the Impacted Tenants Fund.
That's all on the ballot.
That's all on the ballot. I'm in favor. So
November 5th.
November 5th. Vote yes on all of them. That's what I'm doing.
Well, I would hope so. You're advocating for them. You would have to vote for. That'd be really something if you went in and voted against all of them.
I will not be doing that. We're just trying to get 60% of the people to vote for them.
Awesome. Daniela Velasquez, I appreciate you coming in and talking to us about all of these things. And like, I care about it. In particular, the derelict property amendment or proposition. I think it's a much bigger deal than it sounds like it is.
I think it's a big, small change, right? It seems like a small change, but I think it could make a really big difference for everybody.
Alderwoman Daniela Velasquez, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Vinyl windows, they're just plastic. But windows made of composite Fibrix material from Renewal by Andersen, they're twice as strong as vinyl and far more durable. Hey everyone, it's Amy Markscores. With Renewal by Andersen windows, their signature Fibrix material means no bending, no cracking, and no rotting. Just beautiful windows warranted to last decades. Their windows are available in 49 different color combinations. The options are endless. Why wait to ditch the plastic? Choose Renewal by Andersen and give your home the upgrade it deserves. Don't miss out. Renewal by Andersen's BOGO Bonanza is happening now. Buy one window, patio door, or entry door and get the next one 50% off. That's 50% off with no payments and no interest for 18 months. Call 314-720-9200, 314-720-9200. That's 314-720-9200.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
If you're thinking about selling your home, I'm sure there are two things that you want: certainty and the most money, right? This is Debbie Monterey, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know that the agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis's real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first call when looking for an agent. Gloria does not make empty promises. She provides written guarantees. What does that mean for you? Certainty. Certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis's real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
At the UPS Store, we understand the importance of a first impression. That's why we're here to help you put your best foot forward and be unstoppable with our printing services. With high-quality paper stock options, banners, business cards, venues, and more, we make sure your small business stands out and your message reaches the masses. After all, we're the one-stop prints that pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today and get your print on.
This is Megan Lynch. If your family has been touched by Alzheimer's, join me at the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's on Saturday, October 26th at Chesterfield Park. Experience a community of support. Register today at alz.org/STL Walk.
Diverse opinions, mutual respect. That's the politics you'll find at KMOX. Your connection to St. Louis and the region.
Got Megan Eberhardt, the director of fun for the St. Louis Cardinals, coming up here. This is it. Like, what? How many games? Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 more Cardinals home games in 2024. That's it. 5 tonight, tomorrow. Oh, no, wait. It's 4. It's 4. I can't count well. It's 4. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's it. And then the home season for the Cardinals is over. So if you want to get out to the ballpark, and there are reasons to do it, for one, on Saturday, they are going to celebrate the greatest show on turf, which if you don't feel old at the moment, now you're about to, because that team was 25 years ago. 25. That is extraordinary. I hate it. I hate everything about it. You know what else I hate? Fantasy football. Fantasy football is, I love sports. I like to place a wager every now and then. I like to dabble. Not too much, though. I don't want to, come on. You're not trying to go into debt or anything. I'm not stupid. Well, relatively speaking. But I love to place a wager. Hate fantasy football. I've always hated fantasy football. There are a number of reasons I don't like it. Primarily, I hate hanging out with people who play fantasy football. Because what do people who play fantasy football do? They love to tell you about their fantasy football team. And I don't care about your fantasy football team. I have never once cared about your fantasy football team. I don't care that you've got this guy on your fantasy team. I don't care. But this is, there's something about this guy that I'm going to tell you about that I think, this man is special. And I think that we should all we shouldn't celebrate him because there's something wrong with him. A Philadelphia man by the name of Matthew Gabriel, he's 25 years old, got into an argument with somebody else who was in his fantasy football league. And there are 2 incidents that took place, one of them in August of last year, and then one of them again in March of this year. And federal prosecutors are coming after him because he got into an argument with somebody in his league, and that person he got into an argument with was going to Norway, moving to Norway, going to study abroad. And he was so upset with this guy that he called Norway, he called the police security service in Norway and said, hey, I know this guy who's coming to Oslo, and he is considering, not just considering, he is planning to carry out a mass shooting. He was so upset with this guy that he told Norwegian authorities that his buddy was coming to their country and going to carry out a mass shooting. And this is all because of fantasy football. Oh, then later, he phoned in a bomb threat too. This is, okay, so this person is clearly unstable. But this is why I hate fantasy football. This is a new reason to hate fantasy football, because it leads people to do stupid things like this. This is now officially worse than telling me about your fantasy team, calling in bomb threats, and saying that one of your friends is going to shoot up Oslo. Come on, man. Hey, fantasy football, don't do it. What you should do, however, is participate in our No Prize Football Pick'em Challenge, which we're doing again tomorrow. However, we've got a repeat winner. Josh is coming back for tomorrow. He's going up against Andy Karanzif from Crown Candy, and going up against me and Nate Gatter. That's all coming up tomorrow. All right, we're going to talk some Cardinals promotions, final few home games of the season, and Megan Eberhardt, who is the director of fun, joins us next.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows. And save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's PHILO.TV.
How could they make things even more tempting at Genesis of St. Charles? How about 0% financing through the end of September? Choose from the area's largest selection of Genesis sedans and SUVs and get 0% financing. Just head to Genesis of St. Charles. Check out the selection and their beautiful state-of-the-art showroom. Once you get behind the wheel of a Genesis, you're going to want one. Take advantage of 0% financing. They're just a quarter-mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive off 70, or check out their selection at genesisofstcharles.com.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
At 12:30, sun and 85 downtown at the Arch. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are set to make appearances meant to fire up core supporters. Harris is participating in a live stream tonight with Oprah Winfrey in Michigan. Trump is scheduled to attend an evening event in Washington with prominent Jewish donors before addressing a gathering of the Israeli American Council.
The Cardinals have taken the first 3 games of their 4-game series against the Pirates, winning last night by a 10-5 score. Sonny Gray makes a start, goes 5 2/3 innings, 4 runs on 9 hits. He does not factor into the decision. The Cardinals score 6 runs in the 7th inning as Michael McGreevy throws the final 3 innings, giving up just 2 hits, and he picks up the win. He is now 2-0. Brendan Donovan and Mason Wynn each hit home runs for the Cardinals. They look for a 4-game series sweep tonight at Busch Stadium. Eric Fetty on the mound for the Cardinals. 6:15 first pitch. Our coverage begins at 5:20. With the Redbird Report, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
This afternoon, sunshine, high 92. For tonight, some thunderstorms late, low 72. Storms to start tomorrow, then hot, humid the afternoon with the high of 92. Right now, it's 85. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Point. Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at Metamucil.com.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Just imagine being walked all over for 36 years. Who would do that? The great customers of Reinhold Flooring, that's who. For over 3.5 decades, Reinhold Flooring has been the mecca for carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and area rugs. Reinhold Flooring is customer-driven with a focus on top-quality products and installations from the best team in the business. So come on in and walk all over your next flooring at Reinhold Flooring. Visit them at 5429 Telegraph Road in St. Louis or online at reinholdflooring.com.
I see clearly now, thanks to the doctors, Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, Royer, and Barry.
You can too. Go to youreyedoctor.com.
The Musial Awards return to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 23rd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event hosted right here in St. Louis. It's a night to be entertained and inspired. Tickets at musialawards.com.
St. Louis, get ready to rock the holiday season with the return of Trans-Siberian Orchestra and the Lost Christmas Eve. KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra on December 18th for one spectacular show at Enterprise Center at 7 p.m. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. TSO, timeless and everlasting. The rock holiday tradition for the entire family is back. Don't miss Trans-Siberian Orchestra's The Lost Christmas Eve, produced by Live Nation.
Hi, this is Paul Goldschmidt, and it's game day.
It's the Cards and Pirates tonight. Ameren Total Access 520. First pitch 6:15.
Let's play ball.
On your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Chris and Amy show on KMOX. Amy Markscores is out. She's where is she? Matt Pajeski, Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Sounds stupid. She'll be back next week at some point. I can't keep track of her. I'm Chris Ranji. Dave Glover show is coming up at 1 o'clock. We have in studio with us Megan Everhart, Director of Promotions and Events for the St. Louis Cardinals. We call her the Director of Fun. And with the final 4 home games of the season, Megan,
Final 4.
Does it feel like does it feel like it's winding down, or you're already getting ready for next year? Probably, aren't you?
A little bit of both. The sadness that the season is over, ending sooner than we had hoped, is definitely hitting us a little bit harder. We love baseball. We love the sport. We love being around it. We love the fans. We love interacting with our clients and just some of our friends at the ballpark. Our ushers, we don't see them during the off season. So
There's a bit of a family there.
Yeah, the weekend always is bittersweet. That last game at the ballpark is always like, oh, I'll see you in the spring. So I know
It's like
we're a
like so many
family.
months.
So as yes, it is kind of nice to wrap up another season, but then you turn into planning, and it's just nothing but meetings all day long, thinking about next year.
So there's a really big event happening on Saturday with the greatest show on turf.
Yeah.
In celebration. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's go ahead and start
I'm
with
excited about that.
Yeah, let's start with tonight though. You have things for the rest of the week.
You mentioned it. 4 games and 4 great giveaways. So tonight we have our final t-shirt of the season, and this is a Mason Wynn shirt. It has his beautiful smile on the front, but then also a picture of him swinging, and it has Mason Wynn as his nickname Blaze on it. It's just a beautiful Cardinal shirt.
That's a nice shirt.
It is. It's uniquely designed by our graphics team.
So you how many of those have you done this year of player shirts?
We've done 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Mason Wynn, one of the rising stars of this team.
he's been fun to watch, right?
Yeah.
I've had a good time.
I always enjoy watching him play.
I know.
All right, so that's going to happen
That's
tonight.
tonight.
Do you have any more, real quick, any more theme ticket stuff, or is everything just giveaway at the gate?
We do. Tonight is Hello Kitty. We have a handful of tickets
What?
for I know. It's
Hello
a Hello Kitty
Kitty?
bobblehead with a light up bow. She is so cute.
Hold on a second.
Go look it up. Cardinals.com/theme.
Actually, I think I knew that. So
You should have brought it. I'm sorry.
cardinals.com/theme. And then tonight, you should have brought Hello Kitty by. Okay, so it's Hello Kitty night. And so if there's a theme, if you're coming to a theme thing like tonight, you have to get a separate ticket for this. You have to have a ticket for the ball game, but you can still buy a ticket for the Hello Kitty giveaway.
Yes. So if you already have tickets to tonight's game, call in to our ticket office at 314-345-9000, and you can always upgrade your ticket to that theme ticket to ensure that you get the Hello Kitty bobblehead. She's really cute, isn't she? You're looking at her.
I'm looking at her right now. She's got a little bow on her head.
It lights up.
Little Cardinals uniform. It
Yeah.
lights up.
Yes. It's the 50th anniversary of Hello Kitty.
It is?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's been around for 50 years?
It has.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's tonight.
Oh, wow. So Hello Kitty night. That's a theme ticket. And then tomorrow night?
Tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah.
So the gate giveaway is the Lars Newbar bobblehead. Have you
Oh.
seen the videos of us creating it with Lars?
Yes, I have on social media.
Yes, we had
That's
so
right.
much fun.
I meant to text you about that because I saw you in it. And I'm like, oh, look.
Look, there's Megan.
There you are. You're on TV.
I know. I don't belong on TV. I belong on radio. But yeah,
Hey,
so
hey,
No,
easy, buddy.
No. So we started working with him during the winter warm up in January. So he came into my office and we sat down and said, "What do you think? Like, let's design a bobblehead. What pose do you want? What uniform? Defense, offense, what do you want? Do you want like something fun, like maybe more like hobby bobblehead?" And this is the design that he landed on.
So I like this one. This is an unusual bobblehead.
Yes.
It is Lars Nootbaar making a sliding catch.
Yeah.
And his tongue is hanging out.
I know. That's what he wanted.
He
And
picked that.
Yeah. If you watch him, he does do that often.
That's really adorable.
Yeah. So it was fun.
So the Lars Nootbaar bobblehead is tomorrow
Tomorrow
for
night.
how many fans?
25,000.
First 25,000 fans.
16 and older.
Now let's talk about the big one on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this. Bernie Miklasz was in earlier.
good.
We talked about the 25th anniversary. First of all, it's I hate it that it is 25 years.
I know.
Because
I hate when we have to
years,
put, like, can we just call it an anniversary? Like, let's forget the number part. It's the anniversary.
I feel like after 5 years, you start to feel really bad about yourself.
Yeah.
So 5th anniversary, no big deal.
Yeah,
10 is like, ugh.
Yeah.
25?
Let's leave that part out.
It's been 25
Yeah.
years since the Super Bowl Rams, the greatest show on turf, and
Yeah.
everybody's going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah,
Or Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be so fun. So they mentioned that they wanted to have a reunion in St. Louis, and we said, hey, we'll host you. This is going to be fun. Bring everybody back to the community. And so that is Saturday. We have 3 VIP opportunities where fans can get autographs from 3 of those top players from that team. We also have a Q&A happening in Budweiser Terrace pregame. So, and then we have the big ceremony that we're going to have similar to like one of our reunions when we host on the field, whenever we bring back some of our key teams. So it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be fun and just something unique.
So there are autograph opportunities with Isaac Bruce, Marshall Falk, Torrey Holt. You have to do tickets for these, right?
That has to be that theme voucher, that theme ticket.
Okay. And so for that cardinals.com/theme,
yes,
that'll get you there too. So, and just to make it clear, people will have to get individual tickets for each person.
Yeah.
It's not like one ticket that you can go and.
That is correct. You have to select whose autograph you want today.
Right. Right. Because I've seen stuff like that and people, the lines become unbearable and it takes forever. And so you kind of have to, you have to shorten it up a bit.
Yeah, we have a system in place, but it's going to be very exciting.
So that is a 6:15 game against the Cleveland Guardians. The ticket for the game is separate, but then if you want the autograph opportunities with Torrey Holt, Marshall Falk, or Isaac Bruce, you have to get the separate ticket. And that all starts at 3:45 inside the ballpark, right?
Yeah, that's in Budweiser Terrace. And then the pregame ceremony on the field will start right around 5:30.
Anything you can tell us about the ceremony without spoiling it?
No.
Okay.
You know, I never tell you too much on here.
Because you're afraid that you're going to say the wrong thing. None of your bosses are listening.
I know, but the internet is.
Oh, the internet. Okay,
Scary
there's got to be like a little something. Come on.
Well, it was a conversation on what they should wear.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think we are going to ask them
I
to
think
wear?
you're going to ask them to wear the uniforms, the old the navy blue and the gold uniforms. No?
No.
Okay, so it's not that.
We have to make sure that this is not a Rams NFL event.
Yeah,
Yes.
you probably have to work with the
Yes.
league on that.
We have, yeah.
Okay. It's going to be a Cardinals football jersey.
No, you're thinking too hard.
I'm thinking too hard?
It's just our City Connect the Lou jersey.
Oh.
Because they were part of the Lou.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
It'll be fun to see them all in the red.
And then Sunday will be the final home game of the season. What can people expect?
Yeah. Closing day. It's sad. So that day is a winter. We forgot to touch on the gate giveaway on Saturday. It is this hooded jersey. So it looks like a home white jersey with the Cardinals across the chest. And then it has like a hood built in and sleeves.
Oh, look at that. With the Stiefel on the patch on the side.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's very high quality.
That's really nice. Look at that. You guys are really doing it up.
Yeah, and then Sunday is the winter hat. We're preparing you for the colder months to come.
Now, the winter hat has ear flaps, too.
Yeah, and then you could tie it around your chin, make sure it's really nice.
Look at that. I'm really impressed with the giveaways for the last few days. People should go, Cardinals.com.
They should. It's going to be a really fun time at the ballpark.
Okay, so now that the season is coming to an end, what are you going to do with yourself?
I don't even know.
Like you said, you're all...
Spend time with my family. Planning. Now we
Okay.
dive into planning, and we want to hear from everybody. What items do you want for 2025?
Yeah, so that's a thing we were talking about, that you do take
Suggestions, for sure.
You take suggestions
Yeah.
from people,
Yeah.
which they may not realize they can have a little bit of input here, and one of
For
their
sure.
ideas might help out what
Yeah.
Cardinals Promotions does next year. So if people do want to reach out with ideas, thoughts, whatever, how do they get a hold of you?
Email me at meberhart@cardinals.com. We can have a great conversation.
meberhart@cardinals.com. Email her, tell her how
Yeah.
great of a job she has done.
Let's start with that, and then tell me.
Tell Megan what a fantastic job she did in 2024,
Yeah.
and here's what I want for 2025.
Yeah.
That's
Please.
not that hard.
No.
Megan,
Be nice.
be nice to Megan. It's nothing that's happened on the field is Megan's fault.
Right. Yes. Yes. That is
The
true.
missing out on the playoffs is not Megan's
Yes.
fault. She's just here to make your experience at the ballpark better.
You're right.
It's good to see you. Appreciate you coming in.
know. I'll visit a few times this offseason.
Do you already know some things that are happening next year that you could tell us about?
I have some ideas of what I want. I mean, of course, I'm already working on the purse design.
Oh, yeah, the purse
Yeah.
is a big thing
It's huge. It takes so much time because it has to be perfect.
to design the purse.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, so you're going to give away another Cardinals purse next year.
Yes.
You want me to help out designing it?
No.
Okay.
Where's Amy?
Amy doesn't know either.
I miss her.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Is that an insult?
No.
Megan Eberhardt, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for
Thanks for
coming
having
in.
me.
All right. Enjoy the last few games of the season. I know it's sad, but, enjoy it.
I will.
Megan
See you
Eberhardt,
there.
Cardinals Director of Promotions and Events, with us here in studio on KMOX.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
Hey, it's the Cardinal Cowboy. Life can throw us curveballs, like the car accident that put me in a coma 30 years ago. We all have bumps in the road. Lucky for us, we have Renner to get our garage door back on track. Click RENNER door STL.com today. Giddy up!
St. Louis City SC is turning up the heat at the club's free pre-match city block party, starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday, September 28th, all before kickoff against rival Sporting KC. Come out to Lou Fuse Plaza, located steps from City Park, for live music from Tef Poe, Strings EMB, Darkwood, and others. Get special rivalry match merchandise and enjoy local food and drinks, games, giveaways, and so much more. For all the details, visit stlcitysc.com. We've got the sauce. Pour it on, St. Louis.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best, Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
I'm Frank Ladd. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
We're in a locker room because we both played coaches on TV shows.
But only one of us played a head coach.
People don't know this, but we both studied theater at Illinois State University.
And nobody cares about that. Now...
Oh, come on, Jane Lynch. That was at the Emmys over the weekend, on Sunday night. Jane Lynch and Brendan Hunt, both actors, obviously. Brendan Hunt plays Coach Beard on the show Ted Lasso, which is a fantastic show. And I'm not going to have any Ted Lasso slander in this room like I was hearing in the office earlier before the show started with these two dipsticks that I work with, Matt Pajeski and Drew Young. That show is great. Ted Lasso is great. Jane Lynch, also great. Jane Lynch was in Glee, right? She was in Best in Show. She was in the 40-Year-Old Virgin. Awesome stuff. And they referenced my alma mater, Illinois State University, who also attended, guess, take a guess, Matt Pajeski.
Attended by who?
Yeah, take a guess.
Was it that guy who died on the Titanic 100 years ago?
No,
Sergeant Butt?
Huh?
Sergeant Butt? What was his name?
It was not, no.
Archibald Butt?
It was not Archibald Butt. No, it was not Archibald
I don't know.
Butt.
Who?
Gary Sinise went there.
Okay.
It's not bad. John Malkovich. Pretty good, right?
Chris Ranji.
Sean Hayes from Will and Grace.
Some
Also on
real heavyweights here.
He's got the podcast with Jason Bateman and Will Arnett. Forgot what it's called.
Smartless.
That's the one. He's on that. Hey, not bad. And then me.
Yeah.
Illinois State University. And we got a shout out on Sunday night. I think that was great. It's always because I went to a university that a lot of people don't really ever think about. It's under the radar, got a cult following. In the same conference, the Missouri Valley Conference with SIU, Carbondale, Missouri State, for now, they're leaving us, jerks. Evansville, Indiana State, schools like that, right? So little under the radar, underappreciated, should be appreciated more. And I appreciate the Emmys shout out.
If there's a list of the 50 most notable people from Illinois State, where would you rank yourself?
Oh, bro, I don't know.
40s.
I don't think so, man. I mean, there have been probably a Supreme Court justice or something. I don't know.
Not impressed.
Not impressed with the Supreme. I don't even know if we have one of those. I was just guessing. I'm also not having Drew Young's. I said I'm not having your Ted Lasso slander. What a great show that is. And there are rumors that there is going to be another season. Clearly, they haven't started to film it or anything, but there have been rumors, and there are more rumors of it that it could be coming back for another year. And it should, because it is such a great show. And I had Stop it. I had no expectations for it whatsoever. I went into it thinking it was going to be really dumb. And then I watched it, and I'm going to tell you something.
And you were right.
No.
Oh.
No, I was wrong. And this is why I'm a better person than you. I will admit when I'm wrong. I'm admitting that I was wrong about my preconceived idea of Ted Lasso. It turned out to be one of my favorite shows ever, and I will tell you why. Every time an episode ended, I felt just happy. It makes you, it's just so warm. It's like a one of those fleece blankets in the middle of January. I love Ted Lasso. I always felt good when it was over. It was like, oh my God, that's so heartwarming. And they do it in such a way where it's not sickening sweet. It's like the perfect amount of sweet.
I feel good when it's over too.
You've never even tried it.
Because it's over.
You've never even tried it.
I don't like soccer, that's why.
It's not about the soccer.
Okay.
Forget the soccer. It's about the relationships and the people, and everybody's adorable, and it's great. And yeah, it's funny, but it's more about how people interact with each other. Really some good stuff. Very, very good writing. It deserves every single accolade it's gotten. I love that show, and you are so wrong. And anybody listening who doesn't like Ted Lasso, also wrong, and you should feel bad. Hey, guess what? AM radio is closer to being saved by the government. You knew that there were senators such as Ed Markey out of Massachusetts who was trying to make sure that the electric car companies don't take AM radio out of their cars, and that new car manufacturers don't take it out. Well, it has passed the House Energy and Commerce Committee. They approved a bill this week, and now it moves on to the House for a vote. But it passed overwhelmingly. So it does look like car manufacturers are going to have to be forced to keep the AM signal in their cars. Here's the reason for it. Now, you can get us on the Odyssey app. We're on 98.7 FM, 102.5 HD2. But AM signal is always there. In a natural disaster, it's one of the last forms of communication left. So it's important that it stays in your vehicle. I'm not just saying that because it's self-serving. I'm telling you the truth because I care about you. What do you say we do this again tomorrow? It's Nate Gatter sitting in for Amy. That'll be tomorrow. I believe we have Brad Young, at least for the first part of the show. He's going to be joining us. So we got a lot that we could talk about with him. We have our No Prize Pick'em Challenge tomorrow. Josh, the returning victor from last week, is going to participate tomorrow. Hell, it could be you next week.
Unless Josh wins again.
But if you want to participate next week, unless Josh wins, let us know. Tweet at us at Chris Amy KMOX. Have a great rest of your day. The Dave Glover Show is coming up next. I think I'm going to hang out for a bit. Matt Pajeski, thank you. Drew Young, thank you. Listeners, thank you. Love you. Goodbye. Chris Ranji, KMOX.
Lombardo Homes welcomes you to Saxony Ridge in Wentzville, a